and action.
UK NJ Project.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
I don't know whether you notice or not. I'm what counts out here. Not your fucking country clubs or your fucking TV shows. And what the fuck are you doing on TV anyhow?
Movie reviews.
Streaming, live, weekly.
You're making a big fucking spectacle of yourself.
The views, information, and opinions expressed by BC, HQ, and Jack of One Trade do not reflect those of any other podcaster, YouTuber, or production company.
Now playing broadcasts featuring John Wick 2, Dog Day Afternoon, The Sunset Limited, House of a Thousand Corpses, Ong Bak, Hitman, Chinese Hercules, Taoist Master, Bloodsport, and Stand Up Guys. Show times begin at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and 3 p.m. British Standard Time, Tuesdays. Replays available on Spotify, Anchor, and other platforms. Subscribe on YouTube, UK NJ Project. Just what the internet needs, another daft Muppet and an English mug. Everybody's a critic.
I don't give a fuck. Because I'm fucking stupid. That's my business. That's what I do. And we know what you do, don't we? You fuck people out of money and get away with it.
Meeting in the middle of the desert always made me nervous. It's a scary place.
Welcome.
Oh shit, son. We're back again. I gotta switch my headphones out real quick, so give me a second before I can add on. I want to make sure I can be able to be alright. I wanted to do it while I had the music on, but I didn't know if it was gonna ruin the audio, so I didn't mess with it. Okay, go try to say something.
Yeah, I can sort of hear you, but it's cracking a lot again already.
Okay, let me try something here.
Like it was doing it in the intro as well, not just when you was talking.
Ah, fuck. Maybe it's because I had a couple of windows open. I'm hoping I just shut everything other than what we're doing, and let me try to put the camera on, see if that helps any. All right, so for those of you that are new around here, technical difficulties are not anything new for us, but this is the UKNJ Project. It's a movie review show. We do it every week, every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. British Standard Time. We usually do movie reviews, but because of some technical difficulties, we decided to do kind of a podcast deal. We're just kind of talking a little bit. I mean, last week we did cover John Wick 2. We've covered Bloodsport in the past, Ong Bak, Stand Up Guys, which, by the way, I'm hoping that stream will go up a little bit in views because, ironically, Joe Rogan just had Bill Burr on his podcast the other day, and they brought up that movie. They were looking for something else, and they happened to stumble across it in their Google search. Joe Rogan was like, Stand Up Guys, what the fuck is that? He was like, wait, you're in there. He was like, yeah, I was in that for a little while. He was like, nobody saw that movie. Nobody knows that film. He's like, they had so many good people in it, but nobody knows it. And I'm like, dude, we just fucking reviewed that. Like, yeah, I hope he doesn't hear it. Although he was probably the best part of the fucking film, just because, the way that they did it. I watched some shit last night, dude, that the laziness of writing really hurts me sometimes, dude. That, and I want to get into porn a little bit too, but that's a different conversation. But the first thing that I want to bring up is a show called Manhunt. Now I know we're just having a regular conversation today, but I got ramped up in this show. I clicked it and I started watching it. Apparently, the show, it's on Netflix. It's about apparently there was a bombing in Atlanta in 1996 at the Olympics. I didn't know that. Never heard of this before. This is new to me. You heard that?
I was just trying to like remember if I had or not. I don't think I have either, to be honest.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if it's based off a true story. I think it's supposed to be. I gotta look into it. But so there's a guy, Richard Jewell, who is a security guard at this place, and he's by the book, kind of a slow guy a little bit with the way that they paint him out to be, but he's overall good dude. The opening of the show is basically this guy, he finds a bomb in the fucking Olympic Games, and he finally gets people to listen to him. They go and they check it out. They see it's a bomb for real, and it goes off before they can evacuate everybody. So this guy goes from being a fucking hero to, you know, he saved the day, hundreds of lives, whatever, to automatically, because the FBI is looking to shut this shit down quickly, they blame him for it. So that's what the show is basically, is them following through him going through this court case. I mean, beat up in the street. He can't leave his house because there was a bunch of places that were bombed, not just the one. But the things that really bother me about this show is they had such potential, and the longer it goes on, the worse the writing gets. I mean, literally, there was a line in the show where the FBI guy was, a spoiler alert, I guess, but the FBI guy was talking about, like, you know, we set this dude up for some shit that he didn't do, and that was wrong of the FBI to do that. That conversation never took place any fucking where. Behind closed doors. Are you out of your mind? Nobody thought that. I mean, maybe. I have to look into this for real. And maybe if you can find a link for it, you might want to watch it. But I think it's like an 8-part series. Although I think there's, and this might be the 20.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got Netflix, so I'll have a look on there. Obviously, the only thing is that sometimes we don't get everything that you get because it's obviously in America, but a lot of it we do, so I have to have a look.
Right. The one thing I wanted to look into was ExpressVPN, because apparently you can change your location and make the computer think you're anywhere in the world. So I can go on English Netflix and I can watch the same shit you watch, or you could do that with America. I'm thinking about doing that. I did stamps.com, but I'm a fucking idiot, and I didn't realize that, you know, you need a printer to print out the fucking postage, so that's not gonna be good. I'm gonna have to cancel that and see if I can go with ShipStation. Might be easier. I gotta look into that. But yeah, I wanted to bring that show up just because of the laziness in the writing really bothers me, especially because they had something that they really could have made different. I mean, it was shot almost in the same way as People versus O.J. Simpson. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I hadn't watched that, but that was another one that I was going to look at because my mum watched it and she used to talk to me about it. So that was another one that I was going to look up at some point, but I kind of forgot about it till you just said.
That one and this one were shot almost exactly the same. Like, don't get me wrong, the way that they shot it was very nicely done. I mean, the dude, there's a guy in the show who plays Richard Jewell. He played, oh, what the fuck is his goddamn name? He's a serial killer, real fucked up dude. He killed a bunch of co-eds and his mom, I think. He cut her head off and fucking buried her in the backyard. I can't think of his goddamn name. Ed Kemper. He played Ed Kemper on Mindhunter. He plays Richard Jewell in this show. That guy's pretty good. I feel bad for him that he's going to get cast in all these roles of being a fat guy. Because, I mean, I know you ever seen My Name is Earl?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that guy, the big guy that hangs out with Earl all the time. I don't know. Ethan something his real name is.
Yeah.
That dude used to be big, and now he's a fucking monster. he's cut himself up good. Like he's all buffed and shit. And he was talking about a while ago about how when he tried to lose weight initially from being fat, he actually would lose opportunities on roles because they wanted him to be big. So for a long time, he actually let his career guide the fact that he had to stay fat. He was really upset about it, but I mean, I love that guy though, man. I think he's great. I don't care if he's fat or skinny. I don't give a shit. I think he's a good actor.
Do you know what? I love it more so when actors or actresses have to lose weight for a role. Like, you remember when I've never actually watched it, but
You're talking about 50 Cent, right?
no, I think it was Christian Bale. Do you remember he did that? I think it was called The Machinist or something. And he was like anorexic, but he'd done that for the role. Like, there's pictures of it. If you search that on Google, he's literally a skeleton where he lost all this weight to play this character. And I thought, fuck me, talk about dedication.
Seriously, 50 Cent did that too. I have no idea what it was.
Yeah, I remember now you said that. I remember seeing that at the time. But
He looked fucking disgusting. Like that shit
he looked like he had cancer, didn't he?
Yeah, serious. Like no joke, dude. That shit was disgusting. I can't believe that he got that thin. Like
just off topic quickly. Did you see who passed away the other day? An actor, that Debo from Friday.
Oh yeah, I just heard that yesterday. Check it out, dude. We got robots coming in. That means we're doing something right.
It's like Doctor Who, exterminate.
But yeah, the Debo from Friday. I think his name was Tiny, right?
Yeah, it's like that was his like alias, Tiny Lister Jr., Tom Lister. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Rest in peace, because like he was one that, and I was actually randomly watching some old wrestling the other day, and he come into the wrestling for a little bit, and he had a match with Hulk Hogan and stuff, and I was literally watching that the other day, and then I think the next day after I was watching it, I think it might have been the same day, then I heard the news about it, and I was like, that's just freaky.
No, did they? Oh, I'm gonna try to turn this back on. Is it crackling still or no?
It's been doing it a little bit, but it's not as bad.
Okay, so maybe I should leave it off. But I'm gonna keep it on just for a second so I can see if it makes it worse because I have no other tabs open. But I was gonna say, I heard that dude died from I guess complications of corona or whatever. I don't know what the story was. Who knows if that's actually legitimate now because of the way that they're punching up the fucking numbers, unfortunately. But if that is true, that's kind of scary just because that guy seemed to be in pretty good shape. You know, if it could take somebody out like him. But then again, you know, we don't know his life. He could have had underlying issues, and being in Hollywood's probably enough to make anybody fucking sick.
I had a request on for a reaction the other day for Fred the Godson. Don't know if you've heard of him.
No.
I've heard of him briefly before, but I've never listened to him. But someone asked for a reaction for him. But he recently passed away. I think he was like 49 or something, and they said that he had, I looked him up, and it said that he had like kidney problems and asthma, but they reckon that he contracted the virus as well, and it killed him.
I mean, I think about this shit all the time, dude. If I really did get it, which I think I did in I think late December or January, I'm honestly surprised that I pulled through it with everything that I have, all my underlying issues. But then again, I don't know, man. I've had some really weird shit happen to me. I mean, I had shingles by 21. So that's not normal. That's a fucking disease you get in your 60s. I had that shit at 21. So, I mean, I'm abnormal. So I can't really base anything that happens to be on anybody else. It's fucking...
The problem with this virus as well, I'm not saying like it's not real or nothing, but because it's pumped out there so much, like,
bro, they really do make you start second guessing yourself. Like, all right, how much of this shit is actually real, and how much of this are they punching up for the fucking cameras?
Because you could have like any like cold or flu at the moment, and you think you've got the virus because they're telling you symptoms are similar to like a flu or whatever. So how are you supposed to tell the difference?
Bro,
that's not helping people.
I'm congested right now. I should go to the doctor now. I should have gone last week. I already know though they're gonna be like, oh, you can't come in here. You got a respiratory issue. You got to go get a corona test. Like, dude, I get sick every year. If I thought it was the corona for a fucking second, I would agree to a test, but I don't think it is. I got to make the appointment. But what were you gonna say about the virus?
Just that because of how they're pumping it out there, like anyone could have a cold or a flu at the moment and think that they've got the virus because of all the fear mongering going on with it. My dad's really ill at the moment. He's literally in this house with me downstairs, and he's had a cough for a couple of days now, like nearly vomiting, and we don't know if he's got it now. So, like my sisters and that have paid for him to have a test. Like you can do home ones and that you can buy them. So he's gonna do the test, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't personally think it is that, but until, you know what I mean? I just think it's, people are going to be ill all the time, innit? So, but with all this going around as well at the moment, everyone thinks that they've got it.
But see, that's the problem, isn't it, though? Is that anytime you get even a little bit sick, everybody wants to immediately think you got the corona. And then people are afraid. Nobody wants to go to the doctor and be like, oh, I have this shit that's definitely going to kill me. So now whether you realize it or not, and I know the media doesn't care, but they're pushing this shit out, making people be afraid, like with good reason. But I feel like they mishandled this shit a lot from the very beginning.
People are making themselves ill as well because they're stressing about everything that's going on, and they end up making themselves ill because of the stress.
Well, dude, that is a legitimate thing. The reason why I brought up the fact that I had fucking shingles at 21 is because the primary I was going to at the time was like, dude, listen to me. I don't know what you got going on in your life, but you need to chill the fuck out. Like, it is not normal for, this amount of stress to be on somebody at your fucking age. You're not running a Fortune 500 company. You know what I mean?
See, I've told you multiple times about your anger. I mean, you move like flipping Scarface at times, so.
I know, it's fucking scary, dude, because it feels like I'm two different people, man. Like there's this person who's just like, normal and just kind of hangs out, seems to be okay with everybody. Then there's the other motherfucker that just flies out of me sometimes, dude. I can't.
Do you think you've got, in terms of not necessarily controlling it when it happens, but can you realize it more now when it's happening and you're even though I'm stressed, that I know in a few hours or the next day or whatever, I'm going to be back to my normal self more? Or do you get scared when you get like that now that you're just going to lose it?
It depends on what it is that sets me off. Like, as far as the relationship goes, I'm starting to get better with catching myself getting into that moment right before you say something shitty, and it doesn't work all the time. I've maybe controlled it.
Sometimes the trouble with that, though, even though you're catching it, it can sometimes make you feel worse, isn't it? Because you then don't say anything and you're bottling it up.
Yep. And then it explodes later on, and you say all this shit. Like, damn. Well, Jen said some shit to me the other day, and we were arguing. She was like, no, I don't remember what the exchange was back and forth, but I said something along the lines of, like I knew she was gonna be fucked up, but nobody fucking told me it was gonna be this. And she was like, "You think I knew what the fuck I was getting into with you? You're a completely different person than I thought that you were. Nobody fucking warned me. You hear me complaining?" I was like, "Damn. Well, you know what? I guess she got a point, though." She like, that shit kind of hurt a little bit, but I was still mad. The argument, so I had to hold it in. I couldn't be like, "Oh, you're right." I'd be like, "Fuck you, bitch. You don't know what you're talking about."
No, it's crazy.
But I'm trying to get better at it. The thing that what scares me when I go off like that is getting myself in a situation where, like, I could have avoided it, but now I'm in it, and now I gotta fight and jail time and everything else. And it's not even a simple assault charge could fuck up everything. And I try to remember that every time that I get.
I'm not going to go into major detail about it, but obviously I said to you about what I found out that news the other day and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, when that happened, like I hadn't experienced that before, so it was new to me. But I'm not as bad now, but I still feel like if I like get in a conversation and that with that person, like I'm ready for war.
Yeah.
Like, and I've never really been like that, really. And I feel like
it just strikes a nerve.
It's something in me that I didn't know was there.
Yep. I know exactly what you mean, dude. And it's hard once that fucking switch gets flipped, bro, it's over. You're like, oh, I didn't even know that was in there. Now it's in there like you did. That's the same shit like if somebody touched one of your kids in any type of a way. It just ignites that fire inside you. Like, who knew I could have been a killer? But, you know, it's in there. It's in there.
Like, it did shock me. And at the same time, I know, like, certain things, like, the right thing to do in that moment. But when you're like, I'm ready for war, it's like, fuck that. Like, I'm not listening to that, even though I know what the right thing to do is right now. So that's kind of something I noticed a lot recently with what I told you about. And I've not got that initial, like, rage and anger that I had, but like if we get into an argument or something, or even just try to talk about it,
comes right back.
Yeah, I'm on the edge all the time.
There's some shit that I still can't have a conversation about it because it brings me right back into that moment, and I get so angry, dude. You know what? There's some women just don't give a fuck, bro. They just do whatever. They have no regard for anybody else. There's no respect lines anywhere. So, you know, people have done some really fucked up shit. But I'm telling you, man, in a situation like that kid I told you about from the gas station that Jen used to work with, you know, trying to buying her things and doing all this kind of crazy shit. I can't even think about that because it brings me right back into the mode of like, how do you not see this? First of all, how do you not see that? And two, come on. I mean, really, what are we doing? But you can't. I think that's the biggest issues with things like this is trying to. I think that's what destroys a lot of relationships and marriages and all that shit is that when you get to that angry point, is not holding it in even a little bit. I think that's when it really is, when it hits the end, is when you finally just let it all out. And then because you can't, after you say certain shit, you can't go back from it. There's nothing you could do.
I think there's been stuff in the past that's happened that, like, arguments and stuff and whatnot, and fell out, and then like you sort it out. But when that's all happened before, I felt like I've bit my tongue a lot with things and not like let out. And I think that's partly to do with it as well, because like this was like this is a next level thing that's happened, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm sick of doing this now. Like, I've held my tongue before, like I said, I'm like I'm in my head, I'm like, you've started something that you're gonna wish you hadn't. And I know it's probably not the best way to look at it, because like there's kids and stuff involved, and I don't want to.
Yeah, but that's exactly why you're probably so angry too. Part of the reason why is because, dude, like, why are you being so careless? Have your life if you want to have it, but don't be careless. Like, do you see me being careless over here? I know. So, like, look, I know we're two different people, but come on, man. There's certain things you do and certain things you don't do. And I know, like, it's not real. I have a bad habit of commenting on things that are not my place to comment on. Like, I was really drunk outside of a bar one night. Some old lady roofied me. It wasn't because she wanted to fuck me. It was because she thought I had money, because, you know, she saw a group of us and we were all drinking and shit. And people were passing me their money. They're like, oh, pay for my drinks. I'm going to do this, that, or whatever. So this lady thought I was loaded. So I think she slipped me some shit because she kept on. Look, I asked my sister-in-law law to look over my drink, which is the dumbest thing I could have fucking did in the world. Because the second that she was like, yeah, okay, sure. And then 2 seconds later, she must have walked away because I don't think she ever. But either way, we're sitting outside and my fucking head is spinning like nothing I've ever felt before in my life. And I'm trying to hold it together outside, and I hear Jen and one of her friends talking about, you know, her husband passing away and how she, like her husband passed only a couple months back, and she's talking about dating some other dude. And I looked over and I was like, bro, he's not even cold yet. How are you fucking somebody else? Like, I absolutely should not have said that, but I was fucking hammered, and the idea of like, I'm old school, right? It's not my place. I know people get over grief differently. I realize that now. But in the moment, I was kind of like, dude, what the fuck, man? I hope that, you know, there's nowhere where this guy is, like, you know, trying to make sure you're doing all right. See you getting plowed by some dude, you know, only a couple months after he dies. But that was fucked up of me. I shouldn't have said that, you know.
Like, even I think the day that I found out about the stuff, and like, I was like, I said to someone that I don't want to be one of these people that can't forgive someone or anything, but like, in the future maybe I will, but right now it seems that's never going to happen, and that's part of the problem as well, because I'm just like you started something that I can't forgive, so it's really fucked up any sort of, like, even being friends to me now. It's ridiculous,
dude. That's a tough one for me too, dude. Like, I'm not friends with anybody that I've dated. Nobody, not one of them, and that's not necessarily my choice. But I feel, I don't know about you, dude, but when shit don't work out, I want to be as far away from you as possible until whatever I feel for you kind of dies down a little bit. And then when I look at you, I don't want to fucking strangle you, thinking about you fucking somebody else or whatever. You know, but that's
like, the only thing I known is like that relationship, whether it was on or off. That's all I've known for about 13 years or something.
I hear you. I'm in here on fucking 15, dude.
And I've not been with anyone else, so I'm just like, now I just feel like I'm lost. And I'm not necessarily saying I won't meet someone in the future or
no, but you don't even know how to go about it.
That's what I mean. Like, I just feel like just lost and, I don't know, like hollow.
Like, hi, I've been in and out of a relationship for 13 years with 4 children. What do you got going on? Fucking madness, dude. Like, how are you supposed to bring that up in casual conversations? How you feel about diapers?
But it's like, I just feel like, you know, when like 2 rams, like they fucking sprint at each other and do the old headbutting. I just feel like it's that when we try and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And that might be more on my side because I've got more anger now. But I'm like, well, to me, it's justified.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the best way to deal with it, but right now, do you know what I mean? It's the only way I can.
You wouldn't be a person if you didn't get mad over it, especially because that's the mother of your fucking children, dude. You know, regardless of whatever, however long you guys are busted up for, you know, she's always gonna have that place, whether you want her to or not. Unfortunately, it's just what it is. But I understand, you know, not wanting to. This is the hardest part, is you can't just break ties with her, go the other way, because you guys got kids together, so you have to be civil.
I want to go see my kids and that, but like, I would usually take them to the park now, but it's been constantly raining like every day since all this happened, and so I can't do that. And I would usually go to the flat and see them there, but obviously she's there, and because of how I feel, I've said to her the other day, I said, I don't even want to be in the same room as you.
Yeah, well, it's honest.
It's made it impossible because now I haven't seen the kids for about a week.
Yeah, so it's like, dude, I gotta fucking figure out how I can push this beef I have with you aside for our kids. But I mean, It's not easy to do. It's not easy to do at all. I mean, I'm sure getting out there and even not even necessarily dating yet, but just maybe talking to a couple of different people might help you to just kind of, redirect yourself. Just because, I mean, if you've been in with the same motherfucker for so long, I mean, you guys got kids together, it's going to be a big readjustment for you to try to get back out into the dating world or whatever. But I'm sure there are a lot of people that,
But at the same time, I don't necessarily. I've been thinking about that, but then I think like, does that make me sort of like, I don't know if desperate's the right word, or just running away and trying to fill a gap because I feel like that's kind of what the problem was in the first place. Like she's done that on her part, and do you know what I mean? I feel like if I did that, I'm kind of doing what she's done, even though like we're not going to get back together. So I'm just thinking, is that necessarily gonna help me as a person just getting with someone? Do you know what I mean? And I feel
so
like help.
You're looking at it like addiction replacement, kind of.
Yeah, and I don't want to rely on people. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, I keep like I'll have these thoughts at night, and I'm like, when my kids are all grown up and that, I don't feel like I'm gonna have like a reason to be it.
Well, look, dude, here's the problem: is you're doing the only thing you can do, which is look at this from your perspective, right? Of course, you're like, well, with all this going on, this is the worst time for me to get involved with somebody, especially emotionally. But what gets to the point of not liking someone anymore? How do people get to that point? Is it too much being together? Not enough space? Oh, wait, I say, what gets people to the point of not liking somebody anymore? How do people get to that point? Is it too much of being together, not enough space? I think it's a combination of all those things and a couple other things too. But I mean, if you wanna, do you wanna?
I didn't know if you wanted to answer it, and then I was gonna, but I don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I mean, dude, here's what I can tell you from personal experience from being with the same motherfucker for 15 years. It has not been easy, but the one thing that has saved space is a very big deal. Especially, there's three things I think that fucking will ruin any relationship, dude. Space. Well, four things: space, money, communication, and whatever the fucking other thing was, which basically if we're on top of each other all day every day. So one thing that I've learned to do is she'll go out in the living room, watch a movie or something. I'll come in here and do a podcast or work on some shit. I'm in here for a few hours to give her, she knows I'm here, she can hear me talking and all that shit. But if I don't go into the room for a little while, I can at least give her the illusion that, like she's on her own, for lack of a better term. But that shit is really important, to be able to give space. But I think a lot of the other shit is resentment, I think, too. Whereas I don't even think you need a reason. Sometimes you could just wake up one morning and be like, you know what? I've spent all the time I want to spend with this person, and I want to date somebody else or try new things. And, from so many people not being able to pull the trigger on that and being like, well, I don't want to hurt. So I'd rather just, stay in this. And then that builds resentment, and then it becomes this toxic thing. It didn't have to be all because you're looking to try to prevent feelings, which are going to be hurt no matter what. It's just a matter of how badly are you going to hurt them. That's all it comes down to.
And it's the stuff that happened with me recently. Do you know, I felt like Eminem with Kim. That's literally how I felt. Like, I think on my side of it, I was going to say as well, when you was on about you two being on top of each other, like, I really don't think we would have lasted as long as we did if I would have if we'd have lived together like you guys do. I think we would have finished it sooner, to be honest.
Well, dude, I gotta tell you, that's one thing. If I could go back and change it, that would be one thing I would do. Is I would not want living together. Definitely puts a strain on your relationship. I don't care how good it is, because you start to get annoyed by the little things that people do. You know, it could be something as stupid as the way that they brush their fucking teeth. You know, it could be a number of things, but living together is definitely a big one that I would suggest you put off for as long as possible. Now, some people enjoy living together, but honestly, the biggest problem for me is like I feel like I don't belong here, dude. To tell you, I've talked about it on the podcast before, and I don't want to take the conversation into my direction only, but just to, like, I feel like I don't belong here. There's so much of her shit everywhere, and it's not personal against her, but even a feeling like that, this is where shit like that starts to build up. But I know I kind of just brought it into the opposite direction there. Just saying.
Yeah, just to go back on what Demos was saying as well, like, I think, like, being truthful is a massive thing, because there's
shit
as well, major, but like stuff that do you know what it is? It's like you don't say something to someone for a while, and then you have an argument at some point, and then they bring that up, like even if it happened months ago or something, and you're like, well, why didn't you tell me at the time? Because I wasn't even aware that you was pissed off about that thing. Do you know what I mean? That happens a lot. So I think you need to, that's part of the reason, is because you're not being 100% truthful all the time. Even if it's things like you said, like just things that seem minuscule, like because they bring it up in an argument later on, and you're like, well, if that's how you're feeling, why didn't you tell me at the time? Because I wasn't even aware that you was pissed off about whatever that thing was. So I think that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's why communication is definitely on there. Money is another one, because there have been times where the money situation has almost split us up, just because when you're struggling every fucking day, it's easy to hate each other.
And then I bet you argue about things like just things you buy in that as well, innit? Because you're like, what are you buying that for? You don't need to fucking buy that.
Yeah, and then it becomes like you start looking at this, even though you're both in the same situation, then you kind of look at each other like, well, why aren't you doing more? Yeah. And then you get mad at one another when you realize, like, there's not people get a bad hand sometimes, man. That's another one too, though, dude. Money communication is a big one. Not being able to say, like, dude, that shit you just did really fucks me up. I don't like that. And then that also, dude, another thing builds resentment, dude, is people changing who they are to please the other person. You know, Jen's doing a little bit of that, I think. Trying to, anyway, because she used to be wild with her girlfriends, bro. I'm not into all that shit, dude. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I know there are other dudes. I've heard both sides. Some dudes are like, bro, if I was in your position, that'd be the greatest thing ever. And other people who are like, dude, you know, there has to be lines. Some things are to be respected.
So I think it's quite a difficult question that Demos asked, but I think we tried to answer it. But there's so many things, isn't there, that you could think of that just would pop up at different times. You like, that's another thing that could go into what affects like the relationship. And
I mean, not only that, dude, but a big part of it is age too.
Yeah.
Is when you get in this relationship, how many people have you dated before? That's the other thing, dude, is I feel bad for Jen in the sense that, you know, she got the shit end. All the other dirtbags, they got all the good shit, you know, before I was fucked over and all that, where I was stupid and gullible and I believed things, you know. But I mean, yeah, I know we tried to get through the question, but I mean, there is so many different fucking variables, dude. I mean, it's different for everybody too, especially when, you know, or you fucking get somebody knocked up and then you gotta marry them and you guys don't even like each other, but now you're staying in it for the fucking kids, and it just, you know, I think could speak to the numbers of domestic violence on both sides, you know, from men and women to each other. could be a lot of this shit, especially because there's a lot of social pressures. Like, if you're dating somebody for more than a year, they're looking at you. Well, when you getting engaged, when you get married, when you're gonna have kids. Like, dude, I like it the way it is now. Why do I want to add the pressure to that? Because that's the other thing too, is, I mean, not that anybody asked, but I think the engagement in the marriage thing, the pressure of that is enough to destroy a relationship in and of itself. Like, we had to call it off, dude. I'm not that type. I get too wild, bro. I can't do it.
I'm not being like funny or nothing, but I feel like women are worse for that. Like, I'm not saying no blokes do it, because I think blokes do at times as well. But like you was on about the social pressures and that, there's a lot of women out there that, like you said, they'll even say it to their bloke, like, blatantly, like, what are we doing here? Because I want to get married. Like, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, all of a sudden, if I answer this wrong, it's the end of a relationship, and it shouldn't have to be. But I think a lot of women do that, and it's wrong. And I'm not saying, like I said, I think blokes do it as well. But I think if you had to do like a poll of it, it would be more in favour of the women by quite a distance.
Definitely. I think so. I mean, dude, why are you in a rush to get fat and not fuck for anyway? Because that's all we're going to do. The second we get married, we're both going to know we settled. We're going to get fat, and then we're not going to fuck anymore. That's going to be...
What else gets tied into that as well? I think we mentioned it before, is a shared bank account as well.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Because especially if you're married and you've got kids and you get a shared bank account, and then you have to get a divorce and all that, then there's a whole load of complications.
But that's where the prenup comes in, which is another fucking real difficult conversation, it seems like, for people to have. I don't have a problem with that conversation. Like, how about this, dude? We both came in with nothing, and we'll both leave with nothing, because I don't want to be fucking fighting you in the courtroom for you to take half my shit, or me to take half your shit. Like, what is that? Get the fuck out of here. Stupid. You gotta agree on the prenup, dude. And if you can't handle the fact that we both leave with what we walked in with, then we really shouldn't be doing this anyway.
And you know what? Like, I've never believed in marriage, and so I think even if I get with someone else, they're going to be in for a huge surprise, or they're going to have to accept it, because I can't ever see myself like I said, I don't. Like, people look at it as like a rite of passage, don't they? Like, it's something you must do. And I'm like, if you're happy with someone, you shouldn't have to get a bit of paper and that and legally, like, officially do something. Because I think it's more showing off to people. Like, yes, you remember it as a special day for that person, but why should you have to have a massive day and show it off to people for you to have that feeling with that person? It is. I don't understand it.
I think it depends. On one end, what you're talking about is the bridezillas, where they go and you know, everything has to be perfect, and what the fuck is not the right flowers and tablecloths, and they got 100 people with bridesmaids and matching dresses, all that. 100%. I don't think it has anything to do with caring for one another. You just want to show off to your family and friends of how cool you are, and look at the big party we're throwing for each other. I think one of the best weddings I ever went to in my life, honestly, was Jen's aunt got married to, I guess, her husband now, her boyfriend at the time, in her house. Yeah. In her house, in her backyard, and just, you know, small gathering of like immediate family. And that was it. There was no crazy party. There's no, you know, it was just like, you know, we want to do a little thing. We were like, you guys to be there just because, you know, we want to share this moment with yous, and that was it. You know, but that's the difference. I think a lot of people are in it for the, you know, look at how cool we are.
But I don't like, that's better, isn't it, when it's a smaller thing? But even that, I'm like, why do you need that? Like you just said, I want to share it with my family and that, but were they there when you were like doing it with each other and that? Like, what are you doing? Like, I just don't understand. Like, if you're happy with that person, why have you got to get a load of people in a room to watch you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong,
I don't
dude.
understand it. Maybe I'm like some sort of alien, but I just don't. Yeah, I
That
just
is
don't.
pretty funny. Though. I just picture this couple banging, and then this broad's like fucking 70-year-old Spanish mom just pops into the room and goes, hey, work the clip. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get in there. Get in there. You can't be. You gotta be fucking my daughter right. God damn it. What are you doing?
Like, I just think if you're happy with someone, you shouldn't need all that stuff to be happy with them. You shouldn't need
Yeah,
a bit of
no.
paper and a document to say we're officially legally married and we're in a contract. Like, you shouldn't need none of that.
Well, in Pennsylvania, I don't know if they still do this, but in Pennsylvania, like if me and Jen lived in PA, we would be considered married by the state because we've been together for over 10 years. So after 10 years, the state just kind of looks at you and goes, look, man, you motherfuckers might as well be married. We're looking at you as like you're married. So you want the thing or you don't want it. We're counting you as a unit because you've been, with each other for so long. So, I mean, there's that. But I mean, I get it. We talked about it. Like, it seems like weddings are more so, it's either for, it's the bride's big deal. It's the groom is just fucking so happy to be with this broad that he's pushing through this big day. And I know that might sound sexist in a way, but hopefully you get the point what I'm trying to say. And then most of the time though, I feel like it's from the family going, we need to show up for the rest of the family. You understand? Like, this needs to look good. When everybody else comes here, they need to go home and talk about this for years. And I mean, dude, I gotta tell you, I went to a redneck wedding one time. I don't even know who it was.
This
I don't know
already
who.
sounds hilarious.
Oh, dude, it was terrible. It was terrible. I'll tell you why. Okay, here's what happened. Here's what happened, dude. I go to this wedding. I don't know these people. This is Jen's family, I guess. I don't know. A couple of redneck people. They seem like nice people, right? Somebody had the bright idea to sit me at the table with the bride and the groom. Now, we've all been drinking pretty fucking heavily as an open bar, dude. And this is gonna be the dumbest shit you ever heard in your life, but they give the bride and the groom, they give them like centerpieces for the tables and shit. This one, they had like a glass cup vase situation. They had their names engraved on it. It was all nice. They had it sitting in the middle of the fucking table, and I think I was talking to somebody and I'm fucking, all in it like I am all over the place. And I fucking hit into the table, dude. And I break the fucking glass. The entire place stopped. Bro, you could have heard an ant fart in this joint. How quiet. And like even the DJ stopped. You could have heard a record scratch. And they were all like, dude, it's just a cup. It's just a cup. Don't worry about it. You're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Like, look at us. Do you think we care? We have each other. Like, that's what this is really about. And I was like, oh, shit. If this was thank God for rednecks, I guess, to a point. Because if these toothless winters didn't love each other, it would have been a bad day for me, dude. Breaking her
But
fucking
what, like,
thing.
why did it go silent everywhere? If they reacted like in a good way, does everyone like not aware that they think that they were going to switch? Like,
No, when I broke the glass, everybody was like, oh shit. Like, now the whole thing is ruined. They're like, dude, it's a cup. Like, I was thinking that, but this is their thing. So if they want to be like, who the fuck invited the cripple in here, dude? And you give him alcohol? What the fuck is the matter with you? Like,
one thing I wanted to say that you brought up a minute ago is, like how you said that for a lot of women and that, like, that's their dream, like the biggest thing in their life, and it is like a wedding day.
Yeah.
Now, I know not everyone has like a thing they want to do when they're older or whatever, or like a career or something, but why is it that is the one thing that gets pushed above? Like, why can't you be a little girl and dream of having a career as a doctor or something when you grow up? Why is it always a wedding and being
Then again, I think that also comes from that also comes from finances, I think. When you're really broke, they try to, unfortunately, if you're a little girl and you're really broke in your life, when they raise you up, they're like, you got to go and find somebody fucking rich, whatever. They kind of drill that into your head to find somebody to take care of you. I mean, now it's kind of it's starting to change a little bit. But I mean, the same thing with guys is, you have to be the fucking breadwinner. You have to be, the protector at all times, no matter what. Like, it just, I don't know why we've been given these roles. I understand at a certain point, this is just the way shit was done. Like, you families. Really, the only reason why marriage even fucking exists is because it was a way, and I don't have this on a historical fact, but I believe it was because it was a way for families, rich families, to continue to keep property and money in their fucking bloodline by marrying up other rich motherfuckers. I think that's where all this started from. And then when, poor people realize, like, if we have an attractive kid, we could push her out. She has a chance in the world. Whereas if that's the other thing too. If you're a man, you could be ugly, you could be rude, you could be disgusting. But if you have enough money, you can get whoever the fuck you want, which is ridiculous. Like, if I could buy you with money, I don't want you.
I ain't got nothing else to say on the matter. I think we've said enough on it.
Yeah, really. I mean, just look. The last thing I want to say is simply this, dude. I've tried to tell a few women this. And matter of fact, I'm gonna turn my camera off for a second, just because I want you to know that I'm serious when I say this. I've tried to tell a few women this in my life, and it never fucking lands because they think they know better. But I'm not the feminist guy at all. But I just want you to know that you're worth more than just your pussy. You don't have to give your pussy away for money and do all that shit, dude. If there's nothing drives me fucking crazier than when a woman just wants to act like all that she's worth is the fucking pussy that she has in between her legs. It drives me fucking crazy, and I can't stand that, dude. Because, like, that's not true. Like, you don't have to be fucking... You don't have to be a supermodel, to not put all the levity on your fucking twat, or whatever the fucking word is. It's not levity. Whatever it is. You know what the fuck I'm trying to say. Put all the leverage on your twat, dude. You could do better than that. And don't settle for some fucking guy just because he has some zeros in his bank account, dude. Look, at the end of the day, you don't want to be the motherfucker that looks in the mirror at the end of the day and goes, dude, like, all these zeros, but was it worth it? Look what I had to do. Look at what I've given in exchange for this. Like, it's not worth it. You could do better. And the same thing for the men in the fucking audience, dude. I don't care how good she is. I don't care how good she is. If she don't do the right shit, if she don't treat you the right fucking way, the fuck out of there. I don't care how great her tits are, how good her ass looks in jeans, or how great she fucks you or she blows you. It ain't worth it. Fuck that shit.
A lot of times, even when they marry, whether it's a bloke or a woman, when they marry whoever it is that's rich, a lot of the time they end up cheating on that person anyway. So they got with them for the money. Yeah. And then they get bored because there's no, like, spark or whatever in a relationship.
The weirdest one though is when they both know it.
Yeah.
When they come to an agreement, like, yo, I'll pay you, just fuck me once in a while, and tell people that we're together, make me feel good. That would make you feel terrible. Like, oh, you only want to fuck me for my money. I felt bad when bitch would try to come over and blow me for weed, dude. Like, get the fuck away from me. You need to suck my dick for the love of the game. Not for fucking, not for something I can do for you. Fuck that shit, man. Ridiculous, dude. But seriously, people's self-worth is not. You don't even realize.
But this is when, like, I said to her, like, what, like, why are you not? Why have you got to go to some other person like this quickly? And why can't you just focus on you and the kids? Do you know what I mean? Like, why have you got to go and like?
Right,
To
we
me,
were just
that's
in
not.
this thing. We were just in this thing for how many years? Give yourself a breather.
Yeah, and like I even expected, like at some point that she would probably meet someone else anyway, but not this quick, and not how I have to find out about it, and that the kids are involved, and I just think it's disrespectful to me and to her because I feel like she disrespects herself because she should be focusing on herself and not. And she probably think, oh, she is because she's trying to be happy, but you got to be happy with yourself first before you go and look for it in other people.
Right. Well, that's the problem too, is I think because she's been in a relationship for so long, she don't know how to be by herself anymore. She's just so used to being around. That's the problem too, though, dude, is you gotta be able to bounce back. Give yourself time to feel the fucking feelings. You know,
I've
go
been
through
questioning
the
myself a lot at night because I quite like my own company. So, but then I think, am I going to be an old man at some point, just really alone? And that bothers me a bit because I'm like, I haven't even got any friends really. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you.
And it's just like, I'd like to think I'd be happy, but if I've got no support or nothing, and I'm old and just in a house on my own, I'm like, that's a bit much to deal with as well. So I've been thinking about that a lot as well.
See, I've been thinking about this a lot too, dude. Is the end of life. Not dying, but the last of it.
The
The last
last years.
of the years. Yeah. How is it gonna be? You know, who's gonna be around? What's it gonna be like? And I'm thinking about some of the choices that I made and shit. And you know, I think I could do it. I could live on my own, but I think I would want people to come over, you know, from time to time. But I do think it's important to be comfortable. Like the one good thing about being on my own, if I lived on my own, if Jen wanted to go out somewhere, I don't have to worry about that. That's not on my mind. But because we're here, she goes someplace. Now all I'm thinking about is, you know, here's a million different things that can. If she goes out and decides to blow some dude tonight, where the fuck am I going to live? Like that's a completely irrational thought and shouldn't. But it's there. But the point is, I think I could do it on my own. I spent a lot of time by myself in my mom's place. She was always out or working. So, I mean, I could do it, but I understand what you mean when you say, you know, being an old man by yourself, nobody really around.
Well, I've always had like family there as well. I live at home still. So I've always had my parents there. Luckily, they're both still around. So I've always had that. I'm not really that close to my sisters or my brother anymore. But there's always been someone there, like in terms of like family or like my kid. That's another thing like I said earlier about the kids. Like, get worried that they're going to get to a certain age and I'm hardly going to see them because they're just going to be off doing their own life, which they're entitled to do that. But at the same time, from a selfish aspect, I'm like, come and see your lonely old dad. Like, you know, and I think about that a lot because I'm like, what's it going to be like? I don't know how I'm going to deal with that because I've always had like my mum or my dad there, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah. My biggest thing is I don't want to be put in a home, dude. I want to be at my place and I want to go I don't want to be put in a fucking home where I'm in a room in a hospital bed with some other jerk off. We gotta share the fucking TV. I gotta listen to this guy snore, jerk off, or whatever weird thing that he does all night. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just be home. You know, like I get it. Home care is expensive, but they don't take care of you right at the hospital. And I know you could not get taken care of at home either, but I'd rather be miserable at home than miserable in the fucking hospital, especially if I'm going to be by myself. That's a big thing, though, dude, is I wonder constantly, because I know there's a good chance this shit could get really fucking ugly. You know, and we're 3 floors up. What the fuck am I going to do? But, you know, to the point of what you were saying, you know, thinking about getting older, dude. But this one's different. I mean, you say you had your family and shit. See, I don't know. Dude. I don't have that. So I'm not used to that. I mean, it's weird. I'm happy I don't, in a way. Kind of happy I don't, because I don't have to worry about whatever they think, or do they approve, or do they like. I could get up and leave tomorrow and it wouldn't make a difference in either of their lives. They wouldn't care.
I think this is one of the major differences, isn't it, between me and you? Because you've got more, I don't know what the word is, but you've had to go through that of not really
being alone, being forced to be alone, pretty like a loner, kind of, you know.
Yeah, but like more, I guess it's independence, really.
Yeah.
Like you've had to do shit on your own and like survive on the streets and stuff. I've never had to go through any of that. So, like in a way, you've like, I don't know if I had to deal with that, what would happen to me? Like that's just me 100% being honest. And like, so I think in that sense, you've got a strength there that I haven't got. But then I feel like some of your anger and stuff comes from a lot of that as well, from your family. Like, whereas I don't have that depth of the same sort of stuff that, like how you go off on your stuff and that. I might go off at times, but not like you do. But I think that's because I've had like, I'm quite close to my family.
Yeah. Where I don't have, I mean, dude, you talk about closeness, dude. My grandmother used to chase me around with a butcher knife, you know, just to be like, oh,
Michael Myers.
You want, yeah, like really, oh, you want to act up, and then chase me around the house with it. And, you know, I never thought once until like right now, the amount of times that she could have tripped and probably stabbed me. Well, I mean, she was a fucking Sicilian, bro. Nobody would have. They would have been like, all right, one less Social Security check on the line for us. That's good news. But I mean, seriously, when talking about like, dude, these are the people that I was surrounded by. A fucking maniac raised me, where her solution to a bad kid. But then, I mean, she's a 60-something-year-old lady. She had no business fucking trying to, you know, chase me around as a child, especially as a bad motherfucker as I was. But, you know, a lot of that shit does come from that, dude. I think not having that support system around, all that anger laying around dormant for all that time. And then you just learn to go and deal with it on your own. I mean, of course, you get passionate about things. I guess it gets kind of ugly from time to time, but it's good to tap into that once in a while, I think. Although I'd be interested to see how different my life would be if I actually had a support system. Although I don't think it would have been good. I think if I did have a support system, they probably would have either shit the bed like they did, or they would have tried to baby it too much, where I would have never got out on my own, be able to try to do shit on my own. If you grew up in an Irish family, do you think it'd be different? Maybe. I mean, honestly, my grandmother was full-blood Italian. My grandfather was full-blood Irish. So in a way, I kind of came up in a hybrid house. But then my father's a weird guy. I don't know what his deal is. But those people are fucking weird, bro. To them, it had nothing to do with, to them it's more about classism, I think, than nationality. Like they'll hang up on nationality, but it's more about classism with them, I think. And I mean, they can be offended all they want, but I really do think that some of the people in my family are motivated by, like, a lot of them have built careers for themselves, I guess. Like, they have big houses. I don't know how the fuck they got them. Sure, it wasn't easy, but they look down on the rest of us that don't have all of that. While they take care of their kids and everybody is good and great, there is no unit anymore of a family, I don't think. It's very rare to, like, you can make fun of Mexicans all you want for riding in cars 7 deep, dude, but they ride together to the fucking end. You know, you can't say that. Huh?
with their auntie in the back going along for the drive-by. She's 100% on it. No, I get what you mean. Now, I was going to say, even if, like you said a minute ago, even if you still had your family in that around, does not necessarily mean that it would have been better, because if you've got a bad relationship with them anyway, do you know what I mean? It's not going to work.
Yeah, I don't think they're the type of people that just. I was raised around people that don't know how to connect. Honestly, like to other people, they don't know how to get out of their own shit.
But what's crazy about that as well is that you said you come from like an Italian background, which is crazy because to me in my head, other than like Mexicans, like when I picture that, I just think like Sopranos, good like Godfather, like they got like grandma, granddad, fucking everyone's there. So to me, that's like crazy that you're from that background, but you didn't get to experience that.
Yeah, no. I mean, a little bit I experienced that more over my friend's house than like when my grandmother would cook all the time, right? That was the stereotypical guinea thing that she did. And my friend's mom, though, when I would go over to his house, she would bake fucking big dinners all the time. And it would be him, his mom, his grandfather, his brother, me, and I think sometimes his grandfather's friend Nikki. So it's like 6 of us, which doesn't seem like a lot of people, but that's basically like a big get together thing. So I felt more normal going over there and doing that, because outside of that I never really, I don't know, it's weird. I mean, I do see all these things of the family, this shit like the Sopranos, and the family is all there for each other and all that, but the realest part of that show, I think, is how much they all really didn't like each other, but they went over it anyway. They kept their duties. Like my family didn't do that. They all don't like me. They all don't like me, and I think that's because they don't like my mom. So I don't know what the fuck. I would love to go back and see.
Yeah, but that's wrong, isn't it? Like, I don't know what happened, but like if they don't like you, and you know it's not because of you, but it's because of who your mum is, like that's not fair.
Like it's definitely something, dude, because you could just tell, you could feel the temperature in the room change when I walk in, man. And you can hide your disgust as good as you can, but there's certain things on your face that just give it away. So I mean,
it's bad enough if you go in a room and you feel that and they treat you like that, knowing that you've done something. But like in your case, if you don't even know what it is, it's even worse. I mean,
it's gross in a way, dude, because they all come up to you and they do that fucking. It's like, analyze this when they're in the restaurant. He's like, look at this piece of shit, rat bastard, cocksucker. Let's go say hi. That's what these people do. They're all in my face. Oh, hey, how are you? Kiss, kiss. I haven't seen you all year. How are you doing? My phone number has been the same for like 11 years, bitch. Not one of you motherfuckers could call. I mean, on the subject of support systems, because I know that's where we were at. Not to get all into, play the world's smallest violin for me and my fucking problems. Believe me, these people did me a favor by hating my fucking guts, because most of them are terrible fucking people. And I don't care how you feel about that. And if you don't like that I just said that, then maybe you should change your conversations up every fucking holiday, huh? Because, I've overheard some things that really don't make me comfortable for some of you motherfuckers, but whatever. You can't pick your family. You can only sometimes choose your friends. But it's good. Something like this is good. But I bring this up only because maybe there's somebody out there who is dealing with all this shit and they don't. When I was coming up, dude, I thought I was the only fucking one. All my friends, either their parents, their father wasn't around at all, or the parents are together, but the house is, dysfunctional and shit. So,
and not to cut you off, but just before you go into that, like I'm already now thinking with stuff that's happened, I'm one of them statistics now
What do you mean?
in terms of it affecting the kids and that. Like I can do my best with the kids, but we're not together anymore, and it's just the way it's happened as well. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to properly get over that and deal with it and be civil and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I think like I feel like we've become one of them families that I never wanted us to be.
Yeah, but no, dude. But see, that's not you.
And I'm not
can't-
saying like I'm nothing to blame for that. I know I've played my part in that, but I've been thinking about that as well. Like I feel like we've just added to the numbers of. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe, but unfortunately, though, dude, nobody has a crystal ball. You can't know when you guys first get together whether the relationship is gonna work out or not. It would be great if we could figure that out. It would save a lot of people time and heartbreak and broken homes. But
And I'm not saying we're better than them other people. That was always something that I didn't want to be a part of.
yeah,
Because
no,
I
I
wanted
understand. You wanted to avoid that and be able to tell your kids like, look, we did this was not what we did was not easy, but we did it, and now you can't do. I mean, you can do that. You can not become a statistic and be there for your fucking kids, even though the relationship isn't working. I mean, honestly, that is the most important thing you could fucking do.
Well, this is the thing. Like I know, like it's not going to change. Like, I'm even more determined now to be a good dad, even though I feel like I've been doing all right. Like, but it's just outside of that. Do you know what I mean? I find it even like I said, it's hard for me to even go and see the kids now because of how I feel about it all.
Well, the good thing
not
is
towards them, but just the awkwardness of being around her now. Like it's just messed it up.
kids are not dumb, dude. I think they know what's up. Even if they don't really understand what's going on, I think they understand what's going on a little bit. And like, you can always see the problem is they're too young. You can't be like, look, some shit came up, things happen that I'm not, that I feel like shouldn't have happened, and now I can't be around for a while. You can't bring that up to your kid because then it's like, well, why would you even? So I mean, I don't know. Oh God, it's so hard, dude.
Thing is,
Crazy.
I'll go over there at Christmas now and see them, which I was going to anyway, but it's just difficult now because I've got to be there and hold my tongue again. Like, do you know what I mean? I said to her the other day, I said,
I just hope she doesn't. I hope she doesn't do the thing that a lot of women do, which is bring the fucking new guy to the fucking party and introducing like knowing you're going to be there. Like don't do that.
Look, if she does that, it's going to be a mess because like I said, I'm ready for war. Like, and I've never been this type of person, but that's just how I feel. Like, I don't even want to see him. I don't even want to, you know what I mean? Like, so I've got to go over there and hold my tongue now. I said to her the other day, I said, I'll be there for the kids and that, but I don't even bother trying to small talk with me. I'm not having it.
Yeah, but then the problem with that is, though, your kids are going to see that and be like, oh, so they can't even, like, they're not even talking?
I know, but I feel that they know already. Do you know what I mean? They know. I'm not, like, do you know what I mean? It makes me look bad, but I don't know. It's hard for me to. I felt like I've had to do this in the past and be the bigger person and hold my tongue and that. Now I just feel like I don't know how I'm going to do that. Like, I'll still be there for the kids, but there's a certain point where I can't. Like, it's hard for me to even be civil to her now. Like, because I've lost respect and I've lost trust.
Well, it'd be better. It would be better for you to not talk to her at all than for you guys to be arguing. Because at least if you guys are not speaking, your kids can. That would be, I guess, an only a good example for the kids to be like, see, even when shit isn't working, you have to be able to be.
Well, this is the thing.
civil.
We make a big thing of. We don't like argue in front of them. We always pretty much do it online or whatever, like, which is
Yeah.
But like, I'd rather do that than do it in front of the kids. And I've said that to her in the past about things as well. Like, if we're gonna be doing all this, I don't want to be doing it in front of the kids.
Yeah,
but then, like you said, they either get that or they get where we're in a room and there's silence between me and her, but I'm talking to them, but they can sense that we're not talking.
Yeah, like there's that chill in the air, dude. Just so shit just doesn't. Somebody's mad about something.
Like I wish I wasn't dealing with it how I'm dealing with it, but
Yeah, but you
I
can't
don't know what
choose.
else to do.
Dude. You can't choose that. Look, man, this is your primal instincts coming out right now. That's all it is. Believe me, dude, I fucking, I get it. I get it. I wish I was bigger. I wish I was bigger. The amount of dudes I would have fucked up on principle would be ridiculous. Just because. Like, you thought that was a good idea? Here, come here. Fucking smack you. Fucking dick. So I don't go out to the clubs or the bars, dude. Because not worth the fucking aggravation. But
trouble is as well, like I've said to you before, even before this happened, with stuff in the past, like I don't even feel like I want to go out and get a relationship because of everything that's happened anyway. Like it's put me off. But then I get them things, like I said earlier, of am I going to be more miserable in the long run if I end up alone?
well, not only that, but you need to be able to take your focus off of this. Like it's gonna be mad. You're always gonna be mad about it because of the way that it happened and the decisions that were made that went into it. You can't change that. But at least if you put your focus into something else, even if you're not, I'm not saying to go and even date anybody or even to have a conversation yet. Maybe just start to look around in places that you think you might find somebody that could interest you. You don't even have to make a move necessarily, just to get yourself familiar with the idea of making a change in your life. Like I know it sounds stupid.
No, I was going to say, like, I was literally thinking the other day, like, this it sounds a bit cliche, but like in my head, I actually thought, like, this is literally like a new chapter in a book. Like it's a part of a life that is new to me that I've not, because I weren't prepared for it, because I didn't think it was going to change like this.
And the good thing is, dude, you're not the first person to go through this. Okay, you didn't.
No, I know.
Because of you, they didn't invent. They didn't invent divorce law. They didn't invent divorce law because of you. You're not figuring all this shit out. Thousands of people have done it before you, and millions will do it after. That's the one good thing. Is this is probably the most common problem you will ever have in your entire life. This is the one thing that will make you so much like everybody else. Is disgusting. But dude, I get it. It's not, you don't want to like acknowledging that it's over is difficult, because now it's like, all right, that was a part of my life that is gone. I'm never getting it back, and I made a bunch of fucking mistakes, and it did shit wrong, and I can't change it. So now let's go and fuck up someone else's life. I understand exactly how you feel, dude. It's not, but you can't allow yourself not to fucking at least try to
It's
see
so
where you
weird
want to go.
thinking about like meeting someone new to me or anything. Like I feel like I'm at primary school or something. Do you know what I mean? I've not got any experience ever. Like it's weird. It's like, yeah, like it's just like it's all been erased, and I don't have, like I know I have, but it feels like I ain't got the skill set or the capabilities to go out there. Like even though there's proof that I have. Do you know what I mean?
Bro, dude, if you want to talk about a cringe festival, dude, you try to get me to fucking hit on some poor broad, that would be a mess. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I'm just so out of it, dude. I can't even imagine. I know we were making jokes earlier, but seriously though, it is like, hey, I've been in a long-term relationship for 13 years. I got 4 kids and everything's kind of fucked up, and I'm emotionally damaged right now. What are you dealing with?
That's the thing, innit? Because now that's like you're a car salesman and that's your pitch to people.
Yep.
Like you said, how is that meant to be like, you're what I'm looking for. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, even if like the kids and that don't live with me, they're like, he's got 4 kids, and like, do you know what I mean? It's just a bit crazy. Like,
It's
like,
gonna
am I
be
gonna like,
harder.
hello, is it me you're looking for?
It's gonna be harder. It's gonna be harder to find somebody. But in a way, the kids will actually benefit you to be able to weed out the people that are gonna waste your time. Because for you, hopefully, for you to get involved with somebody that has 4 kids, like you got to be able to take on that responsibility, dude. Like, Jen's sister had a kid, Jen's mom had a kid. There was no part of my plans was helping to raise children, but it's a fucking package deal, dude. And I know not everybody would take it upon themselves to try to help where they can, but it's the point, dude, that there are people out there. I'm sure there are women out there that maybe some of them can't have families of their own, or even better, they don't want them. Then you're like, dude, I already got 4 kids. I did the kid thing. You want to see kids? Come see my kids. Just because they don't look like you doesn't mean a goddamn thing. We'll put masks on them. We'll figure it out. Don't worry.
It is weird because, like, to me, it's not like other people might look at that and be like, that person's got baggage. I don't look at them as baggage. Do you know what I mean? They're my kids. I love them to bits. Like, and to me, it's not.
Yeah, baggage is only after I drown them and looking for a place to throw them away. All right.
But
Terrible.
like, I can see that other people look at it like that and think that's a whole lot of weight to take on. But in my head, like, because it'd be a different story as well if they lived with me, because then I'm asking that new person to come in, live, and take over the mum role, let's say, which not necessarily like they're her mum, but if, say, the kids were with me, living with me, and she was living with her parents, like, they're still her kids and this new woman's coming in. Like, I'm not expecting them to call her mum, but she technically is taking over the household in terms of the woman role.
Right. Well, that's the good thing, is that they don't live with you, so you don't have to bombard her with it, and you can take your time with it too. Where feel her out. Don't worry about taking a long time. That's the longer sometimes the better, because I know we talked about this before, is one of the biggest worries that you probably have is people coming in and out. You don't want people in and out of your child's life. I mean, not from a relation. Friendship is one thing. Sure, friends come and go, unfortunately, but bringing another woman or another dude into the thing is a whole different situation, because now if the kid gets attached, it becomes a fucking whole thing, dude.
I think that the crazy thing is now, though, is, and I know not everyone's like this, but it's the whole trust part of it. Like, I've got a barrier up now, because I'm like, I've got no trust.
Yeah.
And like the other day, she said to me, "Oh, you shouldn't have gone through my phone." And I was like, "You've got the fucking cheek to say I shouldn't have gone through your phone." I'm glad I did, because I wouldn't know. I still wouldn't know that this was going on.
And you wouldn't have told me. What kind of dirty shit is that?
Like, this would have gone on over Christmas, and I'd have to find out either nearer Christmas or after Christmas. You know what I mean? Who knows how long I would have had to wait till I had to find this shit out.
Gross. No disrespect, lady. I doubt you're listening, but I'm just saying, I think that's gross. Nothing personal. I'm just saying, what's wrong with just being like, dude, here's the situation. I don't get it. What do you think you're preventing by not doing that? Or maybe you do things like, I can understand somebody being like, well, it's my business, and who fucking cares? It's nobody else's, but like, it is though, dude, because your choices, whether you like it or not, are impacting 5 people, not just you. And that works on both of our ends, unfortunately, but it does. It is, fucking, dude, I could tell you, I
want to get to the point, like I said earlier, where I don't have this feeling towards her, but at the moment I can't help it. But at the moment I look at her like she's the enemy. Do you know? And it's crazy because she's still the mum of my kids, but I can't even. Do you know what I mean? It's hard for me to be in the same room as her now.
You need some time to let that shit go. That's why. It hasn't been that long. I mean, believe me, I know I'm still mad about shit. You know, look,
But you know
dude,
what it's like? Even if she tries to be kind to me and offer me a drink or something when I go there just to see the kids, at the moment, I feel like throwing a fucking glass across the room or something. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's like clever or tough or anything, but that's just how I
yeah,
feel.
but that's what you're supposed to feel right now. That's what you're supposed to feel right now. That's how you know that you were in a relationship with somebody you actually care about, because you're feeling all these different emotions. You're angry, you're upset, all this shit. As bad as it is, this is as sick as it is. This is the best part of the fucking relationship, because this is where you look at it all and see the entire thing start to finish for what it is. And you get to really look at the entire relationship and the way that you've interacted with each other and things you might do different in the future, or, whatever. This is the most important part, because you're able to, and you're working through these feelings so you'd be able to manage them better later if they come up again in a different situation. This is the toughest part, dude. At least you're not fucking heartbroken, that you're more angry than you are upset. Like, that's a good thing. Heartbreak fucking sucks.
To be honest, I'll go through both of it. Like, she's thrown at me that this wouldn't have happened because we was on and off for a long time, and I said to her that I couldn't see us being together anymore, and which I don't regret saying, because we kept getting back together and it wasn't working. But that doesn't all of a sudden mean that my feelings and that aren't there, even though we weren't together for a long time and this happened. She feels like that's helped. Do you know what I mean? Justify it to her. But it still hurts. I still feel like it was cheating, even if we weren't together. Because because I haven't done that side of it as well. Like, it just, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can see her point of being like, well, if this dude says we're never gonna if it's never gonna work, then what am I gonna do? Just sit around with a dry pussy the rest of my life? Like, no disrespect, but I mean, honestly, it's probably what she's definitely not thinking that. Not exactly. But I mean, though, like, if me and this dude are not gonna work, like, yeah, I have a bunch of kids with him, but we're not right for each other. So I gotta start seeing people eventually. I mean, I understand both sides. I understand your view on it, which is like, dude, if she would have told you, I don't think this would be as big of an issue as it is. Outside,
I'm not gonna lie, it still would have upset me, and I still would have been angry. But it definitely has made it worse how I've had to find out about it all.
Yeah,
with the lies, and do you know what I mean? Covering it up, that's made it a whole lot worse for me. And I'm like, anything you've got to say to me now, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, like, why would you go out of your fucking way to just hide it for? Like, I don't understand. Is there something I did that made you think you couldn't tell me?
Like, it's all very well saying to me, oh, I've tried to tell you a few times and I was thinking about a way of telling you. But to me, that just says I'm a coward and I couldn't tell you. And I don't know when I would have told you.
Sounds right, dude. I mean, it's true. It's true.
Imagine if I'd have caught her with him.
Oh, God. You wouldn't be here right now.
Who the fuck's this guy? I didn't even know anything was... I didn't even have a feeling that something was going on. And I've just walked in and what's happening?
Brutal. That's one of my my fears, dude. I think it's a rational one, but it's there. Because I don't know what I would do. I think I would fuck them both up, dude. I would fuck them both up, and then I would put handcuffs on myself and be like, okay, bring me to jail.
And shout to the cops, bring my CBD, bring it.
Yeah.
There'd be your, like, if you got death row and you get your last meal, you'd be like, I don't want no food, just bring me my oils.
Fucking ridiculous, dude. Oh man, this is the worst, though, isn't it? This is the worst part of life.
You know what it is as well? Like, I've seen so many things about this in the past and that, and I never for once thought that I would be a person in this situation.
Of course not. Never. It never hits you. Oh shit. Well, if you live in Texas, it's legal to kill both parties if you catch them. Well, you know what? Good for Texas, man. I don't agree with all of your fucking standpoints, but god damn it, I'm with that one. Fuck it, dude. Crime of passion all day. If you catch them, blow them up. Fuck it. Shouldn't have fucked in the bed, dude. That was your choice. You had to dirty the sheets, didn't you? Fucking cocksuckers. Like, dude, this is the worst part. This is one of the worst parts of living, outside of dying and throwing up, obviously. Is relationships. Is just giving your just feeling things for other people and not, you can't control it. You know, you want to turn it off, but you can't. And then you got to go through this where, you know, it might not work. But you know that going in, and you take a chance anyway. And you hope it works out. Even though in the back of your mind, you know it probably won't. All you could do is just try to take it day to day until this happens. And then, you know, try to remember that you were a person before all this. I think that's.
I was just thinking, I don't want to end up like Al Pacino in Stand Up Guys in the fucking bar, and do you know what I mean? Trying to chat up younger people and fucking go to houses and getting the old drugs and all that. Like, fuck that.
Seriously, no shit. I'll go. Oh, you know what? While we're on the top, let me bring up the porn real quick because I was gonna say before I do that.
Get into that as well, I was just thinking because Demos mentioned Texas a minute ago about the killing people and that. Can you imagine how many dead bodies there are in that desert in Texas that they've never found? Like, can you imagine if they had to get the numbers for it? That must be mental.
Forget it. Bro, you know what I was thinking yesterday was, can you imagine how people are going to look at this right now in 50 years? Like, bro, in 2020, they just legalized pot in some states in America, if you could believe this. People were arguing over whether or not to take a fucking vaccine. You know, this is when computers were still sit on desks and people would look into computer screens. These fucking momos. I was thinking about that yesterday. Like, they're going to be looking at all this shit that we're doing now, the way that we look at history and go, what fucking idiots? What do you do? What took you so long? The answer is right there. It's like we don't see.
We're like the Game Boy compared to like the PlayStation 5. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Before I go chatting up young girls in a bar, I'll go find some freak with a disabled fetish, because apparently that's a thing that I wound up looking into yesterday. And I didn't find it. I mean, technically I did, but it was on my phone. So I was talking to Jen about it. And by the end of the night, we now have the Pornhub app on our TV. But it's kind of useless because, dude, I must have spent 4 hours yesterday looking through porn videos, dude. And like, nope, that's gross. That's gross. That's gross. What the fuck are you even doing? What is that? Get the fuck out of here. Right? Like, dude, what is this? Where have I ended up?
I can just picture you looking at it going to Jen, like, hey, what is that? What's that? Like, looking at it like you're an alien and you've just discovered like humans. Like, what is that?
I watched the arguably the most awkward and uncomfortable blowjob I've ever seen in my life. It was two women, one dude, right, on both sides, right, and they were doing that tongue shit that Scarface's boy does to that girl. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go stick my tongue out to that girl over there." He goes like, "Ah, la, 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 la." They were doing that shit. They were doing that shit to his dick, except they were going. And that's it. That's it. The whole time. And I'm watching this going, if I was this guy, I would be so infuriated right now. Like, are you gonna suck it or not? What are you doing? Fuck, man. Jesus.
And he was like this was
Into
the
it.
peak of life for him.
Yeah. Well, the weird part, and the other thing is too, I just want to say for the record, if you ever want to get a baseline of where you think your dick is in the world, go watch a bunch of porno. I have discovered in my most recent search that I have, I guess, a normal looking dick in comparison to a lot of these torpedoes that I see on the fucking internet. I mean, dude, where do they find these fucking things? And sizes are just, I mean, you need a confidence boost, bro. Watch some porn. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's fucking wild. It's fucking wild. It's fucking wild. Like I was going through categories last night. All kinds of shit, dude. I was going through all kinds.
What makes this even better as well is the fact that we've spoke about porn in the past, and I know how much you hate it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm on the couch, dude, and I'm watching this shit, and I'm going through it like threesome videos. That's the go-to always, because that's the easiest. You could skip through the blowjobs. You got to skip through that all the time because motherfuckers are gonna gag on it. And by the way, if you can't take the whole fucking thing, just don't take it. Just don't take it.
They get a bonus, don't they? They get more money for the certain things they do. So
yeah.
Well, if they don't, they're fucking idiots, and they're just doing it for no reason.
Oh God. I mean, they all got broken dicks. I mean, yeah, maybe they got broken dicks, dude. But I mean, like. Some of these dicks are just weird looking. Like, I've never seen anything like this. I mean, I'm not looking at dicks all day either, so who knows? Maybe I'm not as normal as I thought I was, but, like threesome videos, going through cosplay videos, they're just... I looked up, and I saw that there are handicap fetish videos, but I couldn't bring myself to do it, because... Let me see if I can. Oh no, I can't use my phone. I'm using one of the old phones to look up all this shit so I don't get a virus on my new shit. Dude, I mean, we were watching it though. There was one that was decent where it was actually this dude and some broad were just like actually regularly fucking. Like it looked like me on the TV. Fucking. I was like, oh, this is great. Like now, I don't feel so bad because I know, we all look this bad, right? But so there is disability porn, apparently. There's two categories.
What I think sometimes is that people sometimes are like, oh, that must be a dream job for a bloke, but
it's not.
No, like at the end of the day, some of them guys have been doing that for years, and it's a job. You got to turn up. You're there for hours on end. Some of them shoot like they shoot in Hollywood films. Do you know what I mean? They're there for like 24 hours, and
you gotta come. You gotta come on command.
Yeah. So like I don't.
Oh, the only time I can come on command is if she screams. If she screams, I need that. Give me that load. Whatever. She doesn't say that, but I'm saying like I need her to come right now. I need it right now. I'd be like, oh, well, you can have it. You can have it right now. Just, there's no other way. I would need a cheerleader. I'd be such a bitch to be like, you could do it. You could do it. Come on her face.
Yeah, I think a lot of people look at it though and think, "Wow, what a dream job and that." But you got to remember the key is in the word. Like it's a job, and I think You might
Bro,
get the odd occasion where you get the odd bloke that enjoys doing that for their career, but I think for the most part, it's like any other job, isn't it? Really, like you still got to turn up and be there.
It's worse when you're a garbage man and you pull up to the house and the trash can stinks. It's part of the job description. When you walk into the set and there's a naked broad with a smell coming out of her ass, you're like, what part of the game is this? Am I getting a bonus on this movie? Because have you smelled chick's ass? I
just pictured like a bloke walking up to a set and everyone's ready and he's the last one to come in. He comes in and he sees who he's working with and he just gets in the door. He's like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm not working."
I'm not working with Stink, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
Call me tomorrow, but yeah.
Yeah, no, there's not enough Blue Chew in the world. God damn it, there's not. It's hard to. It's hard
and
to.
Like, remember, you get a bonus for this one today. You're like, nah, you can take your bonus as well.
Yeah. The bonus is the smell. It's gonna be in my nose for a fucking week when I leave here. So gross, terrible. We all got bad days. But there's two categories to this thing. The one is it really bothers me on like a human level, and I think I'm gonna have to find one of these freaks to try to talk to them. But they're called devos, I think, something like that, where they get off on watching disabled people struggle to do day-to-day things.
Like, so it's not even sex related.
Yeah, like they get turned on by what, like, say for example, a person in a wheelchair pulling themselves out of their wheelchair and climbing into bed. That turns somebody on to watch.
I've never heard of this ever. This is brand
new. Me neither. This is all brand new to me. Which that hurts my soul on a human level. I don't know what that's about.
Like, that's and then like serial killer level stuff. Like,
fuck yeah, dude. Then there's other people who are just they're I guess turned on by the idea of fucking somebody with a disability because it's taboo. Like you're not
you know what I just thought sexualized. Well, if you're like able-bodied and you're doing it with someone that isn't, you must have more of an ego and power trip.
Yeah, that's dude. I didn't even think about that. That's got 100% be a part of it too, dude. I mean, I don't think. Come to think about it, I don't think I've ever fucked a normal chick in my life. I don't know. Well, there was this stripper. I did. Does that count? I mean, she's a stripper, so I guess it's kind of normal. I mean, ain't that?
If she's got all her limbs, but.
Yeah, she got all her limbs, but she got a big forehead, and she is a stripper. I mean, she got a water head. This fucking thing. Oh god damn it! I was gonna say this fucking
head.
It looks like you could. It looks like you could wet Flint, Michigan, but you can't. You can't make jokes like that. It's terrible. Sorry, almost just said her name too. But you know what? Shout out to, I won't say her name, but I will say shout out to fucking Darlene for being a fucking awesome wing person for your lady friend to catch her some dick, dude. I salute you.
I just thought this is the worst show for any feminist to come and watch.
Oh, 100%. 100%. There's picket signs being drawn up right now. Right now. Just a big basket of fish and chips and a fucking greased up American flag. These fucking dirt necks. Like, dude, listen, we're having conversations that we know you all have behind closed doors. Don't sit here and tell me because you're a feminist, you're not talking about rubbing your pussy with your friends. Stop it. We know what you do. Just because we're honest enough to have a conversation out in the open, right? You all do it behind closed doors. That's on you. If you want to be offended by anything that we have to say, I want you to understand that there are people that you know in your life right now that are having these exact conversations, or even worse. They're going to stumble on this video at some point in the future and they're going to fucking love it.
I'm not lying, yeah, but this is Patreon content. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, bro, we need to figure out something, dude, because I gotta, but on the 30th, I got my last pain management doctor's appointment, and then I have to go get my weed. Like, bro, you know, I'm terrified, nervous, and excited all at the same time for I'm
but
gonna
what
be
you
able.
were saying to me earlier about like this is a new like challenge sort of thing for me. Like it's the same for you. It's a different like sort of background of what the struggle is. Like yours is like the medical side of it. Mine is relationship stuff. But it still comes down to like it's a change in what you have got used to. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that because you said it to me and it works for you as well, even though it's different like things in life.
I mean, that's true. That's true. I mean, I dealt with relationships is one thing we definitely will have to go into, dude, one of these days, because I've never had good luck in relationships, dude. Never. Like, I have something that follows me around that just is like, everything is going to be fucked up. But to your point, this is a big change. I'm really nervous about it. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that, you know, the idea of not being on these pills does scare me, because I've been on them for 8 years and I know what I'm dealing with. It's not the idea of not taking the pills doesn't scare me. The idea of what is the difference going to be? Like, in an ideal situation, I'll be able to keep my pills and get put on a medical program. I was looking up dispensaries yesterday. There's one that's 2.5 hours away from me. $60. They sell 70 tablets of mints that are 5 milligrams each. So something like that would be good because it's a low milligram. There's a decent amount, but how many of those is it going to take to replace one of these pills is the main concern. How much pain am I going to be in? I know overall my mood will probably be better. And I know I've slipped up on my content creation lately, but, you know, I can't be coming in here fucking stoned anyway. So, you know, I've been keeping it to myself. Not that I don't have anything now, obviously. You know, you can see
So does that, like, if you have to switch to these tablets, does it equal up to like the same amount you was on with the oils if you have to get rid of the oils?
Well, see, that's the other thing too, is I'm not going to be able to afford getting the CBD and the weed. The doctor, I was doing the math the other day. The doctor is going to be anywhere from $200 to $350. That's per visit for 4 months. Worst case scenario, got to pay that 4 months. While I'm waiting, I'm assuming they're just going to do it, but I'm going to have to cut my intake of the oils in half, go for the edibles, and hopefully that works. I just don't. I know when I used to smoke weed, and it wasn't medical grade, though. That's the other thing that we're dealing with. This medical grade shit is supposed to be way stronger than all this other stuff. So I'm hoping with it being stronger, it will take less and it will actually help. Because I smoked some weed from Colorado called Honey Hiker. And, dude, when I make chicken cutlets, it usually takes me like 6 hours to do it. And I have to take 2 fucking pills at once just to get through filleting it and then standing there for hours cutting it up and cooking it and all that shit. I smoked 1 joint to my head of this shit and did all of that without a pill. So I have some hope, and this is a cleaner, healthier option. I'm not gonna die in the streets from an overdose, God forbid, you know, some place, you know, smoking this weed. The worst thing's gonna happen to me is I'm gonna fucking, you know, looking to break somewhere and eat something. But I don't know, I am nervous. I know what you mean, though. It's just look, I know a big problem for me is not stressing about things that I can't control. And this is one of those things. There's nothing that I could do. I didn't cause this.
Do you know what is? I think I've said it to you before, and I do it still, even though I'm aware of it more. But I do think, and I'm not saying it always works and it helps like the outcome of what happens, but I do think how you go into things plays a part in how you end up feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like going into something with like not stressing about it as much as you would usually do, or just thinking more positively about what the outcome could be, even if it then turns out not to be as good as you was hoping. I think sometimes going into it prepared, just thinking more optimistic helps. I'm not saying all the time because I still struggle with it, but I do think when you tell me certain things, and I know you got to go somewhere or that or something, I'm like, I bet he's stressing his head off before he's even left the house. Like,
Yep. I'm
and I
up
still
all
do it with
night
things as well, but
before.
I do think it definitely affects, like I said, even if it ends up worse than you thought, I think if you go into it with less, what's the opposite of like optimism?
Pessimism.
Yeah, if you go into it with less like a pessimistic like approach and attitude, I think that can help.
Yeah. Well,
But
I mean,
I'm not saying it's easy, but I do think about that a lot when I know that you're going somewhere or something, and I do it with certain things as well. But that's like a mindset thing that I always try and do. But I think you can do it. It's just it's like creating a new habit when you're doing it.
Yeah, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go in. All I can do is I'm gonna lay this fucking shit out at this person's feet and go, I want you to hear everything I had to say before you say a fucking single thing. You want to look through my chart? You want to look through my history? That's cool. Here's what the situation is. Like, you're going to say I got a criminal record. Let's not hide that, right? I got caught selling weed. Big fucking deal. It's legal now. Who cares? Bigger thing is I got no reason to come in here and lie for pills. Okay? Falling asleep is not my idea of a good time. You know, I want to be able to be present and enjoy a fucking high. That's why I like weed, because I can still function and be a person and feel like myself instead of taking this bullshit and fucking, you know, half passing out all over the place. Like, what fun is that? I mean, obviously you can't say that part to the doctor, but what I'm going to tell him is, dead ass, dude, this has been an issue my entire life. Now, whether we could go the easy way or we can go the hard way. And by that, I mean the easy or the hard way for me. It doesn't affect you either way. When I walk out of this office, whatever happens to me, you're not going to care. But pain relief is coming from some fucking place. So, I mean, I don't know. I got to figure out. But there's a point to what you were saying. And I think as long as I know, if I go in there and I just tell this motherfucker, this is what it is, and do what you want, there's nothing else I could do. I've done my job. I've shown up. I've never abused at least I could say I've not abused my medicine. You know, I've not been short on account. I haven't really failed a piss test for anything crazy other than weed, CBD.
Do you know what, as well, I was just thinking, sometimes in the past, like when something's happened, and again, I've done it, but I noticed it more from you, is like, when something bad happens, I feel like you think this is the end of the road.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah,
it's not though. Like, I know, but like, and I think in a few days, I'm like, I'll tell him about it, and he'll be like, yeah, I know what you mean. But at that point, you're like, that's it. I'm going off. Like, you'll be like, I'm not coming back on YouTube, or do you know what I mean? You're like, this is the end of the road with everything, and I'm like, it's not like, I know it's bad right now, but this isn't like someone's put a gun to your head and they're about to pull the trigger. You might feel like that in the moment, but this isn't actually the reality of it.
I don't know why it just seems like, I don't know, everything is going bad. We gotta close it all. There's a, and I know you hate the movie, dude, but there's a line in The Sunset Limited where Black says to White, where he's like, dude, where he's talking about, you know, the road. What did he say? The quest of your life is your quest. And, you know, you're on a road that you laid. And sometimes just knowing that fact will make it easier to stay on that road. As long as you stay on that road, you can't get lost. Like, in other words, like, I feel like that, like, when one thing starts to go bad, we should shut everything down because it's coming. The siege is coming. We just shut it all down, and then we don't have to. There's no threats. It's fucked, dude. I hate that I operate in pockets of fucking mania, dude. Like, it's so
I
much.
feel like I've been doing that with what happened recently, and we've got a saying over here, which is something that you just said, which I know you're on about the same thing, but it's like you wait for a bus, and then about 5 come along at the same time, and you've waited
Yeah.
ages. Like, literally the other day when all that stuff was happening, it felt like other stuff was happening at the same time that was negative too.
Always
think-
comes in three. Death always comes in threes, and it seems like
the same
negative.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, but that I do think that's a thing, and that happens because it's like you attract more negativity. But what you got to realize is as well is that happens, but in a few days it calms down again. It's not gonna change what's happened.
It's just so hard to not go.
No, I know.
Fuck, it's over. It's all over. We're fucked.
Still
It's
not.
over.
I'm a mess right now in terms of.
You
like,
hide
night
it
time's
well.
The worst.
You hide it well, though. I wouldn't have thought. You know, anything
You know what it
was
is?
going
I think
on.
it's because when talk about it and stuff, it helps. But then it's like at night time when I'm in bed.
That's
it's
when they
like-
come, dude.
Like I've hardly been sleeping. Like, and it's like I want to move on from what's happened, but I can't even like sleep properly and stuff. And I've got all this shit in my head now. And do you know what I mean? I've never been a good sleeper anyway, but this is just added to it. And
I mean,
like,
dude,
and at
you
the same time, I'm still trying to do all like the positive videos and like motivation stuff, and I still get like when I'm doing them, that's still like authentic and stuff. But it's like
you're not
I've got to
feeling
back
what
it
you're
even more
preaching.
right now.
You're
Say
not
that
feeling. You're not feeling what you're preaching, basically.
Sometimes, and sometimes I feel it, but it's like I've got to like fight that even more at the moment, like and try.
Well,
and do
dude,
more.
don't you think that this would be a great thing for you to bring up, to talk about, to be able to, even you, somebody who tries to be positive every fucking day, this is a situation that has broken you down on a cellular level where it's disturbed every.
I was thinking about maybe doing like a discussion time about it or something, but I didn't really know because I don't want to go on camera and just like lose my shit with like at her. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause she might watch it and.
Well, it's not. This is where you gotta. This is where the separation has to be. Is you have to take her out of it completely and just look at your emotions and the situation that you're in right now, specifically as it pertains to trying to pull yourself back to the positive mindset.
I just thought actually, I'll have to send you it, but I started writing a bit of a song towards her and my sister that was kind of involved in it that I feel. Now, I've since come to find out, I've been told that my sister only found out about everything that was going on the same day I did, which I don't believe at all because of how close they are. And so I started writing a song towards both of them. And I haven't I've only probably done about 30-40 seconds, but I have to send you the bit I've done so far because like I said to you earlier, it ignited something. I felt like Eminem with Kim. Like I was like, right, let's fucking go.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, dude, sometimes that's the best way to get it out is to just let it out. You have to do it because you hold that.
But that's another thing I didn't bring up earlier is that my sister is I've got 2 sisters, but one of them is very close with her, and she told because I messaged her the other day and I was like, so how long have you known about this guy? And she didn't reply for like a day or 2, which said a lot to me. And then she replies saying, I only found out the day you did.
How long did it take you to figure that lie?
And she was like, thanks for deleting me. And I haven't replied since because even if they're telling the truth, because of how close and that they are, I can't trust it. I need actual proof that you found out when I found out, and that's not going to happen. So if you get offended or not, that's up to you. But I can't. Do you know what I mean? Even if they are telling the truth, things from the past and that, I know how close they are, and I'm not buying it for 1 minute that she didn't tell her like the day she started talking to this guy, or I just don't. I can't see it.
That sucks, dude. So now she even got part of your family in there.
Yep.
God damn.
Which now brings in my parents into it as well, because they've got to like know that as well and not know. Do you know what I mean? We can't like have gatherings now, like even though we're not supposed to anyway because of all the shit that's going on with the virus.
Thankfully, yeah, that the virus might be the best thing to happen to you right now. If the world was regular, dude, you would be so much worse off than you are right now, just because you would be able to go places, just fuel that.
For Christmas, I was meant to be going over there for dinner, but that sister was going to be there, my sister, with her. So I said to her the other day, I was like, I'm not coming for dinner anymore. I said, I'll come and see the kids for a bit. I said, but I can't sit there with you and my sister being there.
Yeah, fuck that.
And just play happy families. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah. No.
So it's just crazy. Yeah, I didn't bring that up earlier because I didn't know how deep I was going to go into it all. But you know what I mean? It, like you said, it affects not just me and her. It affects the kids. It affects. I already had a strained relationship with her anyway, with my sister, because of stuff that's happened in the past with me and Rob, because other stuff's happened, and I always feel like they back each other up more than I can go to her as my own blood. Do you know what I mean? It's just mental.
Right. You feel like she'll lie, your ex will lie and your sister will swear to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
like, I feel like she's covered up stuff in the past and they've covered each other's backs, and I'm thinking this could possibly have happened before with stuff and I wouldn't have had a clue.
That's where it gets dangerous, right? Now you start thinking about
the thing is, my sister, like, she's very like fiery. She's more like you than me. Like, and do you know what I mean? So even with her though, like, I've never been as like loud or as aggressive as she is, but even now I'm like, you want war with me, you're gonna get a war with me, and I'm not even like this. Like,
oh shit.
Like,
but that's what makes it dangerous. When the nice calm guy starts flipping out, everybody better fucking duck, dude, because it's gonna get ugly. They expect the wrath from me. It's when it comes to somebody they don't see it coming from, that's when they get scared.
You know what it is? Like I said earlier, bite my tongue so much over the years with stuff, and I've always been the one that tried to not fly off the handle and that now I just feel like a bit like when you get bullied for your like your whole school time and then you just snap. That's what I feel like now.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of it all. I'm just sick of it all.
Fuck. What are you gonna do, dude?
But at the same time, I've got to.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Did what? Witness all that as well.
Oh, hold on. You gotta say that all over again.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yeah, I took you out and put you back in for a
like,
second because you're cutting up.
What was the last bit you heard?
The very beginning.
Which was what? I can't. Was it what about the bullying?
Oh fuck! I think you were the last thing that I remember you said was you're tired of feeling like this.
Oh yeah. I said like I feel like a bit like when you get bullied or something through school, and then there comes a point where you just snap and you don't care anymore, and that's kind of what I feel like. But I said as well, like, at the same time, I've got to try and keep wraps on it to a certain extent, because I can't just let loose and snap on them with my kids witnessing it all as well.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be good at all. You can't do that. But this is the problem, though, dude. There's no manual for any of this shit. Nobody tells you, like, for both of you guys, though. Nobody tells her, like, okay, you're a mom now, and you've been, in and out of a relationship for 13 years, and you're going to see somebody new. Here's how you do it. Or, you're on the other end of this shit, and you just want what is best for everybody, but can it just be done in a clean and respectful way? Is that possible? Like, why does everything have to be shady and underhanded for? I know exactly how you feel, dude. It's unfortunate that things like this could be avoided, but this is why I brought up communication earlier. And I know it's important, and I'm not the best at it, but I mean, I'm trying to improve it, just like we all are. But better communication line could have maybe stopped this from happening, but then again, I don't think so.
Do you know
I think
what?
it's
It's crazy as well. I was thinking the other day about the job I did when I was like the security in the nightclubs and that. Do you know how easy it would have been for me to cheat on her?
forget it.
And I never did. And everyone around me, like the people that I work with in that security, they would try and like say, "Oh, we're gonna have to find you a girl or whatnot," even though they knew I was with someone, because that's the mentality they have. So it'd have been so easy for me to do that. I worked there for about a year and a half, and every weekend. And do you know what I mean? I never cheated on her, and I feel like if she'd have been doing that job, knowing what I know now, she would have cheated on me.
It's possible, but you can't say this is where you're gonna get yourself caught up into that fucking spiral, dude, where you're thinking obsessing kind of about like, oh well, fuck, if she was in this situation, it could have happened then. She could have sucked 100 dicks behind your back. Not saying she did. Even if she did, though, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You knowing or not knowing is not going to help you. It's not gonna help you. The point is, you guys came together and you have 4 children together, and that's what's important. Is apparently,
I'm struggling with it because I know that at some point we gotta be civil in that. Do you know what I mean? But I'm struggling to even be like that right now. I'll go and see the kids and I'll be the same with them, but they're gonna sense that we're not talking when I am there. But I'm like, well, the only other option for that right now, I feel like, is I talk to her and like be snappy at her or something in front of the kids, and I think that's worse.
I mean, you got to give it a little bit of time for you guys to get your footing and figure out exactly how you want to go about handling this. I
can't even look at her right now.
No, not right now. No, you need a couple of months at least. At least. But I only say that because you got kids, you got to fast track it. But I mean, really, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for you to take a few months off and not look at her or anybody else involved in the situation. Give yourself a moment to fucking come out of it. Because of course, right now,
a crazy person. Because like I said earlier, I think even if she's trying to do small talk or just try and be polite or something, I'm just gonna feel like fuck off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Well, you got to get there. You got to get there, and you got to allow yourself time to get there. What you're going through right now is normal. If you weren't feeling these things, then that means you didn't care for this person for the whole time you were with them. So I mean, of course, this is normal, dude. Nobody wants to fucking have to go through this shit. And it just sucks that there's so much pressure that's put on from society of, well, be free and be a fucking free spirit and do what you want, but none of it's gonna hurt somebody's feelings. Don't tell anybody about it and just do it and keep it from everyone. That seems
that's
like
the biggest thing of it. Like it would have hurt anyway, but it's the way I've had to find out and the like behind like the shadiness of it. That's what I don't like.
Believe me, I get it. I've been in this situation before. Not in it, obviously, in the exact same way, but, withheld information.
Feel like with the kids being involved, she's teaching the kids that sort of stuff's okay. And that pisses me off as well.
Yeah, but the problem is, dude, I don't think she's even thinking that deeply about it. I honestly think this is for selfish. I know that's a problem, is that she's not thinking of the kids or outside of herself, but she's been in a relationship for 13 years. This is probably the first time that she feels that she's made an independent decision on her own that didn't have to include the kids and it didn't have to include somebody else. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to, give her excuses, but if you look at it in that way versus the way that you were just looking at it, might make it a little bit easier for you to kind of see how she could have got there, or why she did it the way that she did it. Or maybe she just felt like she didn't want to argue, or still, there's a good lesson in all of this, is that it shows how important it is to fucking be honest.
Yeah.
So what, you're gonna argue? So what, you're gonna fucking fight and be upset, and so whatever. That's part of it. If you can't do that, then why the fuck do you even bother trying to connect with somebody else? You can't just have all the good parts. That's not how it works. You got to take the ugly shit too, even when you don't want to.
But she said to me, like, I told her I didn't want to be with her anymore and stuff, which I probably have said to her at some point. I don't remember it exactly like that, but
I said that shit
at the same time, like, okay, even if I have said that, doesn't excuse the way you've gone about all this. You might have found someone, yeah, but like you said, like we've been saying, why can't you just tell me at the time? Why have I got to find out how I find out?
Yeah, no, this could be this, and not really necessarily fair to throw this on her, but now this could impact the way that you deal with other relationships from now on.
This is what I mean. Like I said to you earlier, I've got no trust now. And I know that a new person, like, that's a whole new, like, slate, a clean slate of dealing with someone new. But for me,
that's not, though. That's a lie.
I haven't got trust now.
Yeah, that's a lie. We don't do that clean slate bullshit. I don't care who everybody you've ever dated, everybody you're going to date is held up to a standard by everybody else you've ever dated. Anybody who says different, I think, is a fucking liar. Whether you want to or not, you're going to take the people that you've dated in the past and you're going to compare them to people that you date now. Especially if you're in the dating phase. I don't mean in a relationship and you're comparing shit that other people did. I mean, I'm going out and I'm trying to decide what it is that I want. This quality, and this quality. Does this person have it? You know what I mean? Like, there's, I kind of forgot my point.
When I told you about it the other day, I nearly didn't tell you at the time, because I was like, it wasn't that long after we spoke about it the other week with, like, the show and that, and I know you were struggling with, like, the news about the doctor and all that, and I was like, I probably shouldn't put this on him at the moment, just sharing the news, because I thought I didn't want to tell you and then you'd be like, oh, now I've got to deal with all this shit on top of what I'm going through. But I just wanted to let you know, because at some point I would have mentioned it anyway. So, but I didn't message you, because it's like, I feel like it's a lot of heavy negative shit that you don't. Do you know what I mean?
That's my area,
dude. Feel like that, I don't want to, like, push it on to people, but
that's my area, dude. I'm the fucking neighborhood psychologist, bro. People used to come to, I swear to God, they called me Dr. K for a number of reasons. That was my nickname for a while. Fucking neighborhood psychologist and friendly pharmacist at your service, dude. But my point is that, I know things. So a situation like this, I'm well versed in. I understand the emotional fucking volleyball that you're going through, and this doctor shit was gonna happen. I can handle what you're going through a lot easier than what I can handle what I'm going through, because I know what you're dealing with is all just raw emotions that you're trying not to overthink. I've been where you are. So I know what it feels like to be. It doesn't matter whether you date somebody for a week or fucking 13 years with 4 kids, and you love somebody, it's not. You know
what's crazy about it? When I found out, even though we weren't together technically, I had that same feeling of, like, nausea and that. When I first found out, I wanted to just puke.
Oh, I know exactly.
Like, to me, I still felt like, even though we weren't together, it still had that same feeling of when I found out. I still felt like it was.
Because you're looking at this person like I would never do that to you.
Yeah.
Ugh, terrible. Women get away with shit men couldn't get away with, dude. You could be mad about that if you want, but you know, it's the same way a dude.
Call in. Let us know how mad you are.
Yeah, yeah, really. I mean, it's the same way a dude can fuck 100 chicks and just be called a dog. Where, you know, if a woman does that, she's a super spreader.
That's a Marvel hero I've never heard of.
Fucking ridiculous, dude. But yeah, I mean, I could deal with that a lot better anyway. Besides, it's, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world to try to help somebody through an issue when you got your own, because maybe helping you through your shit will kind of help me realize that, you know, I can't control what happens to me, but I can maybe help you control what kind of happens to you.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a little bit easier. Like, you know, we can't change the past, but I can at least let you know that, you know, I've been there. Maybe not 13 years in with 4 kids, but I have been fucking wrecked, dude, before. So I understand. It's never easier. It's never gonna get easier, and I wouldn't blame you if you fucking decided that you wouldn't want to date anybody ever again. Just because, how many times can you?
And it's not even like I was with her for like 5 years or whatnot. Do you know what I mean? It was like about 13 years on and off. Like, that's all I've known.
Whole fucking childhood, dude. Basically,
Like, I think I was with 2 girls before that, and it was like just like little sort of not
casual.
serious. Yeah, it was like a few months or something, both of them, and it was before, like, I think I was still at school for parts of it and that. Do you know what I mean? So since leaving school and that, it's been like all I've known, really. So it's, even though, like you said earlier, you're not the first person this has happened to, but because I've never experienced it, I feel like it's an alien world to me. So it's new to me, and I don't know how to deal with it. But I guess that shows how fucking sheltered as well my life's been.
Well, nobody knows how to deal. This is the problem, dude. Is everybody thinks you get broken up with, you go to the store, you buy a fucking pint of ice cream, and you cry into it like Eddie Murphy and the Nutty Professor, and that's the end of it. That's not reality at all. You're going through a whole bunch of shit, a whole bunch of emotions you didn't even know you had. I mean, that's the scariest part right there, is realizing how attached you actually are to all of this. Being able
I
to.
had no idea that I would have this, like you said earlier, the animal instinct. I know we've all got it in us, but I've kind of at times scared myself with, like how I said to you earlier, like I feel like I'm ready for war.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been like that.
No, but it takes something. It takes something out of you. I don't know what it is. Is that, you know, as weird as this is gonna sound to say, and you know, I mean, if you're gonna take it out of context, what can I do? But it seems like, you know, that mainly happens with women and children. That level of anger only comes out. You could like.
I'm
say whatever.
Now, if something happens with my kids, I think I'd be twice as bad as I am that I've been with this. So that's fucking scary in itself. Just thinking.
Yeah, but I mean that just shows, like, dude, that's how powerful it is, bro. And how much power the relationships have is you know, you're in it. You're like fucking blinded.
And I don't think I'm the most sort of open person or like loving person in a relationship. I know I'm not, but I've definitely got it to a certain level, because otherwise I wouldn't be reacting how I've reacted.
Yeah, I mean that's
I don't
true.
think I give her the attention and that she wanted, but at the same time, if it was as bad as she's saying it was, I wouldn't be reacting how I'm reacting.
Well, I mean,
a great person at like showing the attention and that she was looking for. Doesn't necessarily mean that I don't have them feelings, but the way she sees it, I didn't show her that enough. But what I'm saying is, even though I didn't show her it as much as I probably should have, it's obvious that them feelings are still there because it wouldn't affect me like it's affected me.
Yeah, but this is the problem too, is that you both have completely different perspectives on what you think went wrong, right? And then also you're not the same type of people. Maybe I heard some shit about a love language the other day, which apparently is the new thing now, where some people like to be fucking hugged and cuddled and shit. Some people don't really want.
I've always been like, I had family and that supported me, and I'm not a tough guy, but I've always had that kind of like brush people off sort of thing, not even meaning to like offend people by it, but it's just always how I've been. I've never really been into like cuddling people and that, and people usually associate that with people being like a tough guy and not showing emotions, but I think a lot of it's to do with like my OCD and that as well. But like, people look at it as a lot of like tough guys are like that. They don't want to hug people and that, but I'm like that, and I'm not a tough guy.
Yeah, like you're not going like, all right, we're gonna fuck now. Ew, get away from me, bitch. You're a dirty pussy in the shower. It's not like that at all. It's like, all right, we did our thing, what we're gonna do, and I don't know why, but for some reason, it makes me very uncomfortable to be close to another human being. It's not personal. It's just for some reason, it's what happens. And I mean, she's got to be thinking like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What is this shit? But like at the same, this is again, this fucking shows you how important communication is, man. Because this could have been a conversation. Now, granted, could have still built resentment, and maybe she still would have been like, well, fuck your OCD and come cuddle me, bitch. You never know. But still, it's the point that, at least if it could have got brought up, maybe that could have been something that, I don't want to say prevented this from happening, but would have made it a little bit easier. Maybe could have been, the break could have been more mutual.
Maybe. I'm not 100% convinced it would have changed anything, but because I feel like we've spoke about things in the past with me and her, and then like she'll bring things up when we're arguing, and I'm like, that happened like last year, and I didn't even know about that
shit, dude.
Like,
that Jen still brings up shit from 14 years ago, if you could believe it. They have a memory like nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know. Like, they'll bring things up, and I'm like, that was never even a thing to me at the time. I didn't even know that was offensive.
Bro, and the weather on the day too, dude. I remember because it was 80 degrees out, and the wind was blowing south by southwest.
Yeah,
like
what time you woke up and what you had for breakfast.
Yeah, you had a green T-shirt on and them ugly ass pants you have on, like.
Yeah, like
I don't know how they do it.
You know what I mean? Like, I might have done it in the past where I've brought something up, but for the most part, I never have really done that. And I find that she does that most times. We argue about something, and I'm like, well, I'm just finding out about this now. So, do you know what I mean? How am I supposed to change it when it's from, especially when it's from like a fucking year ago or whatever? I'm like,
yeah, but you do realize that holding it in for a year is absolutely not helping anybody. We're so far removed from this situation. Even if I wanted to go back and fix it, I don't have a time machine, lady. You know what I mean?
You know what else I've found as well? Even things like that we've spoke about and we've like sorted it and agreed we've sorted on it, like, and reasoned about it and whatever. And then when we argue next, they bring it up again. And I'm like, but we both agreed that we'd spoke about that and gotten over it. But obviously you haven't.
Yeah, because that shit kills me too, though, dude. Because it's either if you can't get over it, then just say that. Don't pretend that you are if you're fucking not. Because then I'm gonna think everything is cool, and meanwhile you're sitting over there going, motherfucker, you fucking motherfucker, I knew it, I knew it.
And that's probably some cases like in the past where like people have ended up fucking killing their partners and that. Do you know what I mean? Just flipping on them because that one person's going over shit in their head and the other one's not even aware and thinking this like sunshines and rainbows, and then they wake up with someone on top of them with a fucking knife on them.
I'm waiting. I sleep with a fucking grenade next to me, boy. You can believe that shit. You should fucking be sitting there all night thinking about weird shit. All I gotta do is breathe in wrong way one time, and she's gonna be like, "That's it. I'm cutting him. That's it. I'm cutting him. It's over. Can't take it anymore. Bring me back to the funny farm. I'm out of here, motherfuckers." Oh man, holy shit! It's not easy, dude, and I don't envy you, and I hope that I will not be put in your position, but I'm sure sooner than later I probably will be. So, you know,
All I would say is, even if it did happen with you, like,
I would be a fucking mess.
I was gonna say, it's
I
not
would be a
gonna
mess
easier,
like you've
but
never seen a mess before in your life, bro.
I think it would be easier in the sense that because you haven't got kids, like it
Yeah.
makes it
No,
in some ways
100%.
easier to sort of walk away in some aspects, but
Way easier. Definitely. Versus if you do, you literally you can't. I mean, you can, but then you're a piece of shit if
like,
you
I'm
do.
not saying if we didn't have kids, I could just walk away and not have no feelings still or nothing, but
No, but you
it's
would
a
have
lot
your
harder
feelings.
now.
That you wouldn't have to harp on them so badly.
Yeah. Because I kind of feel like I've got to have I feel like Jekyll and Hyde, because I've got to like be the nice one when I'm with the kids around her, but then I have to come home and like, I don't have to, but I feel like if I want to talk to her about anything, it just ends up in an argument, whether it's my fault or hers. Do you know what I mean? Because I can't let it out in front of the kids, so I've got to let it out in some way or another. So I feel like two
Yeah.
people.
And then you can't. I was just gonna say, it's not even like you could go to fucking therapy because the therapist always winds up taking one side.
Yeah, and then they get fucking like child support or whatever involved, even if both partners don't want that to happen, because they just take over it. They're like, well, this isn't a stable environment for your kids. Do you know what I mean? And they just try and take over.
It becomes a fucking mess. The whole thing really does. It's disgusting, man. Children are used as fucking torpedoes against, each other, the parents against each other, using the kids for fucking weapons. It's disgusting. I mean, dude, I don't know, man. I wish I could tell you that it'll all go away quickly, but I'm sure it fucking won't. It'll be a
I'm
long.
like laying here at night and I'm like, in the long run, this will probably be all right. But then I'm thinking, will it? Because do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm holding a grudge already that I know is not good for me, but I don't know how to let go of it. And I feel justified as well. That's the problem.
I
But
mean,
at the same time, like I said to you earlier, I don't want to be one of these people that is like that. I want to be able to forgive her and be happy for her, whatever she chooses to do. But at the same time, I don't think I'm ever going to forget or forgive what she's done.
yeah, but you're too close to it right now to be able to make that kind of decision anyway. You got to give yourself some time. Allow yourself to hate her for the moment. You need that. Because it's normal. It's normal. You're supposed to. Even if it is only for a little. Even if it only is for a little while. Matter of fact, this makes you think of the fucking thing. I'm going to play this for you.
I was just thinking, if I send you that little bit of a song I've done and you're like, this is fucking awful. Like, that'd be gross.
I was sure it can't be any worse than anything I've fucking done. There you go. This one. This has been in my head the entire time that we've been fucking talking, dude. It's not. I would play the video, but then we would get taken down. This.
So you took a chance on being happy, even though you knew that later on
You'd be
you
sad.
would be sad.
Yeah.
And now you're sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what's the problem?
The following program is intended
What
for
the
mature audiences.
I fucking, dude, in this scene is an old man who's walking his dog, and him and Louie are just walking down the street together to talk about relationships. And he's talking about how I've been with her for so long, and I love her, and I want to just kill myself, and I don't know how I'm gonna live. And then that's when he turns around. So you took a chance on being happy, even though you knew later on you could be sad, and now you're sad. So what's the problem? Yeah, but in the moment, dude, we're not thinking about that we agreed to take that chance in the moment. We're not thinking about that.
Why is there so much delay on that video? There's like loads of like major pauses between what they're saying, which makes it funnier. But why is it like?
I don't know. Well, that's probably me. I probably did that.
That just made it more funny.
I don't know. Let me see. 'Cause I don't want to take credit. I don't want to take credit for something that might have just been in the timing of the show.
Being happy, even though you knew that later on you would be sad.
Yeah.
And now you're sad.
Yeah.
That was them, not me. Okay.
What's the problem?
Too sad.
The following program is intended
Too
for
sad.
mature audiences.
Look,
I miss
like the
her.
feeling of
Being with her.
I liked it.
Talking.
But now she's gone and I miss her and it sucks.
Ugh.
I didn't think it was going to be this bad. And I feel like why even be happy?
Wait
if
for
it's
it.
just going to lead to this.
Oh shit.
It wasn't worth it.
What?
I liked the feeling of being in love with her. I liked it.
Hold on.
But now she's gone and I miss her and it sucks.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't think it was going to be this bad. And
Right.
I feel like why even be happy if it's just going to lead to this?
Woo! That's a fucking line and a half right there, boy. Why even be happy if it's just gonna lead to this? Sounds like somebody's been reading my notebooks.
Oh, I just thought of something. I don't know what season or episode it is, but there's an episode of that Ricky Gervais show where Carl says about dating a girl that he saw a girl once that had something like an illness or something, and he goes to Ricky and Steve. He's like, "Why do I want to spend time getting to know her and all that, knowing that she might die?" And Ricky's like, "Oh," and like. He's like, Carl. He's like, you
Look,
can't
they're all
say that
gonna
sort
die.
of thing. I'll have to try find it for you so I'd love to see your reaction on it, but I've just spoiled it a little bit, but it's hilarious.
Sounds fucking
I was
awesome.
saying it like saying, why have I got to spend money on her and spend all this time with her and she might die? And then Ricky and Steve are like, Carl, what is wrong with you?
He just said the thing that we all would think inside of our minds and not say out loud. That's all.
He's like, but you don't understand me.
It
And
wasn't
Ricky's like,
worth
you got to know that that's not normal.
Fuck, dude. There's a purpose to this.
Even be happy if it's just going to lead to this.
Mm.
It wasn't worth it.
Misery is wasted on the miserable.
Misery is wasted on the miserable.
What?
I'm not entirely sure what your name is, but you are a classic idiot. You think spending time with her, kissing her, having fun with her, you think that's what it was all about? That was love?
Yeah.
This is love. Missing her because she's gone, wanting to die. You're so lucky. You're like a walking poem. Would you rather be some kind of a fantasy, some kind of a Disney ride? Is that what you want? Don't you see, this is the good part. This is what you've been digging for all this time. Now you finally have it in your hand, the sweet nugget of love. Sweet, sad love. And you want to throw it away. You've got it all wrong.
I thought this was the bad part.
No, the bad part is when you forget her, when you don't care about her, when you don't care about anything. The bad part is coming, so enjoy
Whew.
the heartbreak while
Fuck.
you can, for God's sakes.
Why did he have to jerk off in front of two women for it, dude? Why did you have to do it, God damn it? This show is so fucking good. Dude, come on, man. Enjoy the heartbreak. The bad part is coming where you don't care about her, but you don't care about anything. Dude, oh my god, man. You missed the closest of the connection. Boy, you missed doesn't exist anymore. Nothing junk food and sad music don't fix. Embrace it.
I think we need to end in a minute. This is getting crazy.
Yeah, it's almost done.
Here, pick up the dog poop, would you please? Lucky son of a bitch, I haven't had my heart broken since Marilyn walked by me since I was 35 years old. What I would give to have that feeling again.
Welcome.
That's crazy, dude.
That is mental because it like that is crazy. I don't even know what to say really.
But there is something. The guy, as crazy as he is, though, dude, he does make a good fucking point. Like, this is the whole. I guess this is the whole thing that we look. People wait their whole lives and never experience what it feels like to get their heart broken. I know it's a terrible feeling, dude, but there are people in the world that have never even had a relationship, and you have a relationship and 4 beautiful kids. I mean, they might be ugly, but I'm not gonna judge. As I thought that, I was like, oh man, I hope this is gonna go over well. I don't know how it's gonna go, but seriously though, man. I mean, a lot of people don't experience that. So as difficult it is for me to be a positive person sometimes, especially in a situation like this, as difficult as it is to look at it and go, at least I experienced it, and that's something that I can pass along to my children so that they can understand what going through this is a rite of passage in life. If you don't have your heart broken at least once or twice, you're not living the right way. At least I think so anyway. I don't know nothing about nothing, dude, but I do know that you would be far more upset if you never had experienced this at all. And I know it doesn't fix the pain, and it doesn't to make it better or take it away, but just knowing that you at least got to something good came out of all of this, even if you guys wind up hating each other later and all of your kids grow up to not be able to like you for whatever fucking reason. At least in that moment, there were moments in time where it was real for you all, and the fact that you had to let it go is sometimes the best thing that you can do. Not because it's gonna come back, but because you both know that you're not right for each other. As much as it sucks, and I wish that there was not these things in life, but
I think in the long run, it probably will it will make me stronger, and that it sounds a bit corny, and people say that, but I think it.
No, but it does. It does.
I feel like how I'm dealing with it at the moment, it also makes me feel like I don't feel like I'm that person, which is pretty normal, I suppose, because it's not. I haven't got further down the line yet, but at the moment, I just feel like, even though I think in the long run it's going to make me stronger, right now I don't feel like that.
Of course not, and you shouldn't. If you felt that way right now, something would be wrong. At least I would think. But it's the point that it will make you stronger. It will also make you put your priorities first. What do you want in a person that you're going to share your time with? It's going to make you reevaluate a lot of things. And the good thing about going through this for so long is that you've gotten a chance to see what some of the things are that you like, some of the things that you don't, and some of the shit that you need to work on or whatever. But all this information you didn't have before. That's got to be a win in some column somewhere. I know it doesn't take it away, dude. And as somebody that's had their heart broken multiple times in my life, dude, it never gets easier. You think the older you get, the better it would be, and it just gets worse. I live in fear every day, dude, that why I don't even enjoy my relationship half the time because I'm just waiting for it to end. What kind of life is that? I mean, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, dude, we all got our shit, dude. Later on, I've thought about this 1,000 times since we started talking. As I'm sure when all this is said and done, there's going to be a million things that I wish I didn't say. I would have did more, or whatever. But we all go through it for a reason, dude. And you're going to come out better on the other end of this. But you know that already.
This has been like Dr. Field today, isn't it? Like, no, it's been good today. I like it's helped, even though I spoke to you a little bit offline about it, like not on a stream. It was good then as well, but it does. I've spoke to like my family about it and stuff as well, but it definitely.
But see, the thing I wanted to just mention real quick was I didn't mention anything that much offline because I didn't know where the boundaries were, if that makes any sense. I didn't want to say some shit like not knowing the whole situation, but I still wanted you to know that, I'll try to talk with you through it and help you through and whatever I could do, but I just didn't want to. With text you could take so many things in the wrong way, and but back to what you were saying, is everybody needs a little therapy now and then.
So yeah, that's it, man. I was gonna say I got to head off, but I don't know if there's anything you needed to say to anyone or anything, or are you heading off as well? Or?
Yeah, I'm gonna head off now. By next week we still won't know anything. The week after, no. Okay.
So have you got enough, just quickly? Have you got enough stuff to get through Christmas in terms of like your medication and all that?
I have until the 4th of next month, and my appointment is for the pain management doctors on the 30th. The one that I'm still seeing. I'm hoping I can get one more prescription out of her while I try to set up the other doctor I have to go to, because I got to do some kind of weird switch thing because I've going to this place for so long. I'm sure there's 100 things that are gonna need to happen.
It's not the ideal situation, but at least you get through Christmas with knowing that you've got some stuff there. Like, it'd have been worse, I think, if you didn't have nothing left in now when you have to get through Christmas.
Fucked. Because, dude, I'm telling you now, if there's one thing I could say about these goddamn pills, whether you're an addict or you're not, I've taken these fucking things for 8 years, dude. I don't take them. Like, my doctor pushed my medicine. I was supposed to get my pills on the 5th. She pushed it back on the 6th, an hour before I was supposed to get them. Just not going one day without them made my pain worse. Parts of my body were hurting I didn't know I could feel fucking pain in. So while the pills are helpful, this is better off in the long run. Get off of this fucking shit while I can still get off of it. Or at least decrease dramatically and increase the weed. And hopefully, if there's any justice in the world, I won't need the pills anymore. But we'll catch up on all of that. I will have... Let me look on the... All right, next Wednesday... Not next Wednesday. The Wednesday after is the 30th. So I won't have any news for you until the 5th of January. By then, we'll have an idea what the fuck is going on. And we got to plan out what our next show is going to be. But we'll worry about that. Maybe it'll be another podcast. Maybe we'll jump back into a movie. We'll figure it out. But, all right, you want to head up? We will catch you motherfuckers next week. Replay is available on Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Anchor.fm, and Radio Public. You can find the UKNJ Project on all those platforms and Google Podcasts as well. You can find it on all those platforms, Lapping at Birds every Saturday, 5 a.m., BCHQ, Reactor, Motivational Speaker, videos daily for your motivation, for your fucking reaction fix. We got it all here, dude. I don't know what you're doing fucking around with these other people. All I'm saying is, when's the last time you clicked on a YouTube thumbnail and heard a legitimate conversation for almost 3 hours outside of Joe fucking Rogan or Joey Diaz? I'll wait. We'll see you next week.
Laters.
Later, man.